Do you need anything like I need you? It's over. Do you need anything like I need you? I've got no place to wanna change the world. I just want the perfect girl. I don't wanna hang around, I'd rather be found. It gets better, I wonder, my pleasure together. Everyone's waiting, anticipating.
Yo, 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 yo. Let's go.
I will never be alone again. I'm immune to the things they said. My heart's unbreaking. You're radiant truth. I know that you will understand because I finally found myself. My heart's unbreaking. You're radiant. Hey, I just wanna change the world, but I'm not gonna wait my turn. I don't ever want to come down, I'd rather be found.
Yo.
It gets better, I wonder, my pleasure together.
Let's go. Everyone's waiting.
Anticipating.
Yo. You
I will never be alone
again. I'm immune to the things they said.
My heart's unbreaking.
Your radiant truth. I know that you will understand because I finally found myself.
My heart's unbreaking. You're radiant.
You're radiant. Let's go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Who's ready for some late night?
I can't pretend. No, 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 no. I hope this never ends. It's about you. I will never be alone again. I'm immune to the things they said. My heart's
You like this?
unbreaking.
Your radiant truth. I know that you will understand because I finally found myself.
My heart's unbreaking.
You're radiant.
You're radiant.
Ooh. Na 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 na. Dude, I've been trying to find that drummer from that band, like just to say hi, and I've not been able to find him. He like, it's weird. He has no online footprint, which I guess is not that unusual. There are people that have no online footprints, but I looked for like several days, and I even contacted my friend Asia. She's in the band 𝗙𝗃𝗽𝗽. She used to be in a band with him. She's the woman who used to be married to Dan Reynolds, right? And I reached out to her and was like, do you know what happened to Nate? And she's like, you know what's funny? I have no idea, but she was thinking about him, I guess, the day before. Isn't that crazy? And so yeah, I'm trying to fucking trying to track him down. Dude, I saw somebody mention Kiss. I love that you like Kiss, Cindy. Kiss is like, dude, they were the band, right? They were the band that fucking got me into rock and roll back in like 3rd grade or some shit. You think Kiss sucks? No, dude, are you shitting me? Dude, not only is Kiss amazing and one of the foundational great fucking rock bands of all time, they've made music in every fucking style. You know what I'm saying? Like they've literally over their like 50-year career, like they made a grunge album, they've made disco albums, like and all of it like had their own Kiss flair, man. Dude, fucking love them. We've seen them. I've seen them actually a couple of times recently too, and they were still good. Right? Even fucking 70 years old, those guys can still fucking bring it. Dude, in the 70s, man, Kiss was the shit, bro. Kiss was like, in the 70s, bro, everybody fucking loved Kiss, man. There's a Kiss army, dude. They were the fucking best, boss. You like me even more now? Let's go. Yeah, so Kiss was like, I mean, I'll be honest. I don't like listen to their music like I used to, right? But I still have them on playlists and shit. And when they come up, I totally rock out to them. And, you know, a couple of their albums, Destroyer, Kiss Alive 2, Double Platinum. A couple of their records are among the best of the best fucking rock and roll albums of all time. You say bro a lot now? Oh shit, it's rubbing off on you. Bro boss dude, right? You'll know when I fully rubbed off when you call everybody dude. Dude, so you know what I got to see though, guys? Check this out. All right? Check this out. So I didn't get to see Kiss when I was young. But I saw them at Dodger Stadium on the Kiss Psycho Circus Tour 3D, right? When they played with the Smashing Pumpkins. I saw Kiss then. I saw Kiss with my family where we all painted our faces here at the Clark County Amphitheater not too long ago. My kid, he went and saw Kiss alone. He drove up to Seattle to see him. So I passed Kiss down to the next generation. But you know what I got to see, guys? That was amazing in probably 1990, 1991. I saw Ace Frehley and his band live at the Coach House, which is like a tiny club that holds like 200 people, right? The fucking Coach House. I saw Ace Frehley and his band, and dude, unfucking believable, man. One of the great, oh my God, I have like massive goose pimples on my arm just thinking about that show. I was like 22 and Ace Frehley had a band where he went back and played like all of the songs he wrote during Kiss with this fucking band. It was unreal. It was so good at the fucking Coach House, man, in the marina, dude. Oh my God. That was an insane concert. That was an insane concert. And I met one of the crazier girls I've ever spent some time with that night as well. Right? Oh, shit. I had a wild adventure that night. She was a poet. Oh, Lordy. Dude, remembering back to the days of being fucking 21, dude, in the fucking 90s, right? Late 80s, 90s, everyone was just like, fuck, dude. Everybody was just having sex and doing drugs. It was amazing. It was incredible. Seattle. Oh, I bet Seattle was great. I bet Seattle was great then. Am I a deadhead? No, and most certainly not. I've been to a number of Dead shows, right? I've seen them live a handful of times, right? At the Forum, saw them at Cal State Dominguez Hills a couple times. So I've been to the shows. And I've done the sort of Dead show adventure. went through a brief phase where I really was minorly obsessed with like hippie girls, but I never really liked the Dead's music. You know what I mean? It's a little too hokey, country, almost country and western sort of. I don't know. It's like that picking and grinning shit. Like what do you call it? Not really roots rock, but like, what's that shit called, dude? Bluegrass. They have a real bluegrassy sort of, right? Folks, bluegrassy kind of country twang. I mean, they're good. Don't get me wrong. They're good, right? I'm not going to put anyone down who's into it. It's just not my musical scene. You know what I mean? When I would go on psychedelic adventures myself, I like to listen to harder shit like Jane's Addiction and like really crazy, like echo dripping, aggressive sort of fucking music. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I mean, that's just my thing because, and dude, great performers, right? Great performers though. And their shows were a lot of fun, but their music's a little, you know, their music's a little too like, yeah, everybody, let's just fucking have a good time. Peace, be good, be gentle. You know what I'm saying? Just grab a little slice of land and like, you know, have at it with some friends and just have a good time. And I when I was younger, I was far more aggressive, relentlessly rock starry sort of ambitious. So that scene was not, their music just didn't speak to me. Not everyone likes a 95-minute song. Dude, their space sets were pretty cool, right? But I had a lot of friends, though, that were like deep Deadheads, okay? See, me, I was a little, I'll be honest, guys. When I was 20, 21, I was a little one-dimensional, okay? I became obsessed with fucking Jane's Addiction, and my obsession with Jane's Addiction lasted for several years, where I literally bought multiple copies of Nothing Shocking. I played that tape until you couldn't read it on both sides, and then I would go buy another one, right? And I saw them a whole bunch at the fucking Palladium and wherever I could in the club scene, Dragonfly, what have you, right? Like Perry Farrell Solar shit afterwards. I was pretty obsessed with fucking Jane's Addiction, right? I was majorly obsessed, right? Weird Al, dude, I saw Weird Al a couple years ago at the zoo here in Portland. Dude, I was surprised. I didn't think I'd like him. But my kid was a big Weird Al fan. So I got Weird Al tickets and we went to Weird Al and I was like, holy shit, that was a great show. It's funny, dude. He like switches costumes and shit and does all these medleys. So he plays like a whole bunch of songs for like 2 minutes each. Dude, so funny. His show was really good. He was walking out in the crowd and like fucking around with people, harassing people in the crowd. It was amazing. Oh, the show was incredible. Yeah, I think Bryce was in like, I don't know, 8th grade or some shit, 7th grade. Shit. Yeah, man. See, what's interesting about this though, guys, is the thing about music that's tough is this, is like, I can respect one's musical talent and their stagecraft and their like ability. But that doesn't mean you're going to emotionally connect with the music, right? Like I just had a discussion with my son on the way back from the grocery store today. That was like really interesting about Radiohead, right? Where I look at Radiohead and those guys are really talented. Those guys obviously made this massive impact. And during the early 2000s, like, you know, they were like the talk of everybody in indie music was obsessed with Radiohead. But I listened to Radiohead and I've felt no emotional connection to them whatsoever, right? And they're an incredibly talented, fucking insanely like unique band, right? But they do nothing for me. And that's just it with music. Like, because of that emotional connection, like sometimes, right? Sometimes fucking you just don't have a connection with things. You know what I mean? It's like so weird, And at that time though, I loved Coldplay. And like my indie rock friends who were fans of Radiohead, they find out that I like Coldplay, they're like, fuck you, right? Seriously, they would hate me for that shit. You know what I'm saying? But you can only really go with what you connect with, right? It's like weird how that works. You know what my son said though? You know what my son said to me about Radiohead? And this is really intriguing because he tried to analyze it. And he said, Dad, he's like, I know why you never liked Radiohead. And I'm like, why? And he said, Radiohead is for people who feel small. He said, people that like go into a crowded room or whatever, and when they're in a crowded room or they're at a party or something, or they're out in a social situation and they feel like one of the smallest people in the room, he's like, those people love Radiohead, right? And I was like, huh? And he's like, Dad, when you go into a room, you always feel like you're like the biggest person in every room you go into. You never feel small, Dad. And I was like, huh, that's really interesting. And then he told me a lot about like Tom York and about like his facial condition and the way he fucking sings and shit. And I was like, huh, isn't that interesting? You think he's accurate with that analysis? I mean, Bryce is pretty sharp about this shit, right? He's pretty sharp about like, you think he's right? That's funny because I don't have that. Like, I don't feel small. I feel like depression and all that shit, but I just don't feel small, you know what I mean? That's not something I really relate to. He's right though. Dude, I'm going to tell him you said that. Man, when he described it though, it really made a lot of sense. Right? And it also can light up rooms and still be depressed. Absolutely. He does have a lot of insight, dude. He does. See, it's really interesting because he has started playing guitar. My son has a couple years ago, and he's gotten really good. And he's obsessed with 70s rock, and so he's into vinyl, and he buys we got him a new record player for his birthday, and so he buys all this vinyl and shit. And but it's so weird though, right? Because like, we're so different, okay? Because for him, on his musical journey, he like just explores music and learns so much about music. He's like a music nerd, a student of music. He learns how to play all different kinds of songs from all different genres, and he just listens to music and contemplates it for hours. And like, my experience with rock and roll was not like that at all. I liked being on stage, okay? I lived to be up on a stage in front of a bunch of people and then just like bearing my soul for them and feeding off the energy of that room, right? And so my I didn't have a wide musical education. I listened to what I listened to, and I liked what I liked, and mostly I just wanted to be on stage, and I wanted to perform, and I wanted to like hang out with girls and party. And he's like wants to like learn everything about bands and fucking deconstruct music and learn all the songs from all the great guitar players and shit. I'm really intrigued to see what he's doing with that, 5 years from now. Cause he has like, I don't know, man. He's like, he's got the soul of an actual musician. Whereas for me, I just like to perform. I just like the spotlight, right? That's my fucking thing. I like the lights. I like the stage. I like the energy of that shit. But You got a drum set from your mom and your dad and stepmom put it in the garage. Oh, that sucks. Did you go play out in the garage? Did I play Sacramento? I did. Yeah, I used to play a little fucking club down on like P Street or Q Street. I think it's on Q Street. There's a place called the Press Club in Santa Monica or in Sacramento, right? Right? Q Street? I think maybe it's on Q Street. Somewhere around there, right? It's called the Press Club, and they had a Monday night thing. Okay, they had a Monday night. It was like DJs and indie rock bands, and the indie rock bands would play first, and then fucking DJs would play after. It was really cool, man. It was like packed. It was like all the indie fucking people, all the indie fucking rockers from the area would hang out there. It was really cool. It was neat. And so I would always play it. Like I would always play either, you know, on tour, you either play like LA or San Francisco, right? Like LA on Saturday, San Francisco on Sunday, or LA Friday, San Francisco Saturday. So like having that Sacramento on a Monday, like in between San Francisco and like Ashland or Grants Pass or wherever was always nice, right? Dude, Sacramento, you been to the Press Club a lot? Let's go. Dude, the Press Club was cool. I will say this, right? You know, not to sound like a total misogynist, but there were a group of like, I don't know, the girls that were in Sacramento were always awesome. Dude, they were. Man, they had some really like crazy dancer indie rock sort of pseudo goth girls in Sacramento that was like, you know, I don't know what it was, but there was something about Sacramento. The Press Club place was wild, dude. It was like, dude, it was like something like you notice. You know what I'm saying? You notice. There are like pockets you notice. You know what I'm saying? Like traveling the country, like Burlington, Vermont and Boise, Idaho. There are just places where you go to cities and you're like, what the fuck, bro? Like everybody in this city is like good looking, dude. And like, right? Have you ever seen that? You go to some cities and you're like, dude, you go to Burlington, Vermont, and everybody there is like good looking. You're like, what the fuck, dude? This is Burlington, Vermont. It's just some random Vermont town. Why? And congrats on getting free from your ex, Bernard. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's weird, right? I mean, you expect it when you go to LA, you go to New York, you go to these big hub cities where everybody's going to be models. But you go to a town like Burlington, Vermont, or Boise, Idaho, and you don't expect it to be like anything fucking unusual, you know? You know what I mean? But sometimes you go to these towns and you're like, wow, everybody in this town is pretty. Dude, it's weird. Or it's obviously, it's not everyone because my only experience of the town is like the club and like a coffee shop or whatever that's usually in like the hipster part of town, you know? But yeah, Sacramento was pretty cool. I had some good times at the Press Club. I like it because it's really small. Like those of you who've never been to Sacramento, the Press Club is like really small. So you get like 100 people in there, 120 people, and it is fucking packed. You know what I'm saying? And those were always my favorite, guys. I mean, the big venues are like one thing. It's like big venues are fun and all. To play a big venue, you play a crowd of 300-400 people. That's a good energy thing. But man, there is nothing quite like playing in a room where 100, 120 people just packs out the whole room. And it's like body to body. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It's like everybody's like where you're getting other people sweat on you. And that shit is crazy. All of Midtown Sacramento is the hipster part. It is indeed, right? Dude, Sacramento is a lot nicer than it was, you know, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, right? Like in the early 2000s, dude, it was nice in Sacramento. They put a whole bunch of trees in. They redid the downtown. There's like parks and shit. Sacramento was really, Looked pretty nice. Moved out as fast as you could in 2002. Yeah, see, I feel like it got better after you left, Matt. Like by like 2005, 2006, Sacramento was actually pretty cool. Although I bet if you grow up there, it sucks. Been all over, but you settled in rural Wisconsin. You can't handle large crowds. I mean, that makes sense. You don't like large crowds. I like the crowds. I like the crowds, baby. Dude, we have a lot of people fucking Sacramento. I didn't realize we had so many people from Sacramento. You're a Radiohead fan? Come on, man. Who's that? Is that you? It got better after you left. No, I didn't mean it got better because he left. Right? It just right? Oh shit. Dude, that's not what I meant. I wasn't like, dude, it got better once Sacramento got rid of him. Dude, that's not what I meant. I just meant like I think 2002 was early in the urban renewal. But Radiohead are so epic. Yeah, I just don't connect with them. Right? I mean, I liked Fake Plastic Trees. That was a good song. Miss all the cultural events. Yeah, no, I mean, that's one thing that, you know, how big is Sacramento? Oh, dude, Sacramento is like the same size as Portland, right? And the Metro, 2.4 million. Yeah, so see, that's interesting. Yeah, no, it's like Portland size, right? 550,000, 2.5 million metro area. And so, but I get what you mean though, Lila, because Portland is a city, but it's not like an LA city. It's not like a San Francisco city where, you know, in Portland here, you try to find a restaurant that's open at midnight and it's like, holy fucking shit, dude. You are not going to find a restaurant that's open until midnight, but you go to LA and you can go and have restaurant food at 3 a.m. all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Right? It's, you know, it's got that small town. Portland is definitely better than Sacramento though. I mean, we're only better though. The only reason I'm going to tell you this, guys, the only reason Portland is better than Sacramento is because all the people from LA and San Francisco moved here. Right? If Portland never became cool and a bunch of people from LA and New York and San Francisco didn't move here, we would probably be just like Sacramento, like half hipster, half redneck, right? Because that's the thing about Sacramento is it's a lot of, you know, it's pretty redneck, right? I mean, Sacramento, Bakersfield, they're not that different. And Portland has a lot of that. But we got a whole bunch of people that like in, you know, the entertainment industry and music and finance, whatever, just a whole bunch of like more citied people came here, you know? I think that's what happened. Because when I first moved here in 1999, Portland was kind of like, it was like a hippie town, right? There's plenty of cool people before all the Kelly showed up. It was kind of a hippie town. Seriously, when I moved here, guys, when I moved here in 99, it was like everybody just wore like Carhartts and fucking gray sweatshirts and shit. And I was like, you know what I mean? Or like flowing robes or whatever. And I was like, dude, what the fuck is up with these people? I moved here from LA. And you know, there was no, I don't know, man. There was a little bit of a music scene that was sort of fashion forward, but like most of the general public when I moved here looked like they dressed everywhere they went. They dressed as though they just didn't care. Right? They did, dude. They literally dressed as though they did not fucking care. Whereas like in LA, you fucking dress up. Like every time you go out in LA, you dress up like you're going out on stage. And I came to Portland, you go to every bar and it's like 100 people in Carhartts and gray sweatshirts. And I was like, dude, where the fuck am I, bro? Right? It was so weird, dude. It was weird, right? And I stuck out like a sore thumb. You know, I mean, it was a little different if you went downtown, if you went to like Dante's and you 𝗙ص𝗶𝗶 Pan or something like that. I mean, normal. I guess that is normal, but it's like when you live in LA, that's not normal. Nobody in LA wears Carhartts except like on a construction site or some shit. You know what I'm saying? In LA, like everybody's wearing like diesel jeans and shit, right? And you know what I mean? It was just so weird, dude. I came here and I was like, what is this place, bro? Oh, shit. I was blown away, man. And a lot of hippies. And then I got a job at an Irish pub. And so, like, dude, it was crazy. Yeah, man. Pretty wild. It was a big culture shock, right? It was a big culture shock. LA's full of rich people. Yeah, but in LA, you don't even have to be rich, right? Because in LA, there are places like there's a used clothing store called Out of the Closet that like help fund like LGBTQ youth, at-risk youth and shit. And so there were a lot of thrift stores, and then Ross, you know, I used to find like diesel jeans at Ross. You know what I'm saying? You could, on the cheap, you could really, you know, you could go to Wasteland, and if you knew somebody that worked there on Melrose, you get really good deals, right? Or they'd save shit for you. They'd grab good shit, right? Right? You know what I'm saying? And so you could like kind of live on the cheap, right? And then they had Aardvarks was another place. I mean, now thrift stores are like as expensive as everything, but in the 90s, man, Out of the Closet and Aardvarks was another one. They had a thrift store called Aardvarks. And between those two places, and I knew a girl that worked at Wasteland, so she would, whenever there was shit that like reminded me of my style, which was like a lot of polyester. I liked diesel jeans and polyester shirts. And so she would like grab shit for me and just tuck it behind the counter. And I would go in there once a week and you know, get stuff before it got picked out. Right. So, I mean, you know, you had to do a little bit of work. I feel like you had to do some networking in LA, but there were some pretty good used clothing stores. And there was that here too when I first moved here, right? I used to work on Hawthorne, and there was a Buffalo Exchange and a Red Light on Hawthorne, and I lived one block off of Hawthorne. Like, man, 1999, dude, I was living the dream life here in Portland. It was amazing. Before I met the Coke dealer, dude, I'm serious. I moved up here, and at first I lived over on Ash and like 12th, kind of near the Doug Fir over by Burnside. And then I got kicked out of that house because I was bringing people home at like 3 a.m. and my roommates worked 9 to 5. They did not like that. So they kicked me out. And then I got into a band house that was one block off Hawthorne in like 36th place, right by the Ben & Jerry's and this used record store, right? Used whatever game store, record store. And it was like, there was like, we had a rehearsal space in the basement, and then there was 3 of us, sometimes 4, if we had somebody like crashing on the couch. And so I lived there, and then Biddy McGraw's was the Irish pub I worked at, which was right on Hawthorne, and now it's a place called Mulligan's, but back then it was called Biddy McGraw's. And so I worked like 2 blocks from where I lived. And dude, it was amazing. Like Hawthorne in 1999 was pretty incredible, right? It was just cool, right? Everybody just lived in the neighborhood and bartered, you know, wherever you worked. You fucking, you know, if you worked in a bar, you gave people free drinks, and then they worked in a restaurant, they gave you free food. And it was like everybody just traded with everybody. And so we all lived like kings, even though we weren't making a lot of money, you know, and my rent was like $300 a month for a room in that house right on Hawthorne. It was so cheap. It was crazy. It was nuts. And then I met a coke dealer and like, dude, who delivered, and like then everything fell apart, boss. In record time, bro. Oh shit, dude. In record fucking time. Yeah, when rent was affordable, dude. Yeah, dude, the worst thing you could possibly find is a coke dealer who delivers. There is really no greater evil. Dude. Oh shit. Dude, this guy was like, oh man, it like the code was like hours of the day, right? So you'd call him up and you'd say, I need you to work 3 hours today. And he'd be like, all right, on my way, right? And oh, fuck, bro. He would fucking show up. 300 back then is like 600 now. It's worse than that, okay? It's like nowadays, the fucking... The rent here, like if you rent a house, it's going to be like, I don't know, 800 per person in a 3-bedroom house, probably. Right? Yeah, dude. So the thing about the dealers, this guy was particularly bad because he would deliver 24/7, man. This guy always fucking answered his page, right? So he would deliver, but you know what else he would do, guys? Is he would front you. He would front me. So I could buy a whole bunch of shit with no dollars, right? And yeah, he would show up and just fucking load me up, give me like handfuls of shit. And I had no money. And I'd be like, yeah, dude, I'll get you back next week. Bro. Oh, dude. Real dangerous, boss. Yeah, he gave me a revolving credit line of like up to like $1,000, man. I could owe him $1,000 and he would still show up, dude. Oh. Yeah, it was diabolical. It was the way to do it. Apartment in Eugene was slow. Yeah. No, yeah. It's like there's still cheap places, right? You know what I'm saying? There are still cheap places. You gotta, I mean, that's kind of what's good, I guess, about like being a streamer or whatever, is now I have pretty low overhead. If something happened and if I lost my house or something and something happened, I could move to some tiny town in the Midwest. And as long as they had like good internet, I could set up shop there. And so like, you know, it's good to know that I'm in a vocation that I take my work with me wherever I go. Like some people, your job market is fucked, right? And I mean, that is one nice thing about being a content creator is you're immune to the job market. Like if I lost everything and had to go find some tiny town in fucking Kentucky where rent was like $200 a month or something, $400 a month, I could fucking do that, right? As long as they had internet. You know, I feel pretty lucky about that. Real fortunate. Dude, Fed's about to tap into this chat. I don't think they are, dude. Dude, they're not going to tap in until we start talking about Epstein. Dude, can I just tell you? The economy doesn't affect your viewership. Yeah, that's true, Worthy. That's true. I mean, the economy affects how much people donate and shit. So I guess it does affect it too a little bit, but it won't affect just pure like video watching, right? You know what I'm saying? I hadn't really thought about that either. That it's like the ads are the ads. Doesn't matter. What do I think about all the nuisance streamers all over YouTube and Kick? If you're talking about the streamers that like go out in the street and fuck with people, I don't like that shit, right? I feel like that shit is, I don't know. I have real problems with that. I'll be honest, guys. I don't think streaming out in the real world is a really good idea, right? Streaming out in the real world feels like, I don't know. To me, it just feels weird because like the thing that I like most about streaming is the privacy. And I have streamed, like when I had a billboard in fucking, right? Let me show you, right? I had a billboard in New York City. Let me find the fucking thing here, right there. Because of one of my sponsors, I was on a billboard in Times Square, okay? And so I went to New York City and I was streaming from Times Square, okay? And this was right before the Andrew Tate thing. This was actually the trip that sort of ended my relationship with a lot of the gaming community after I got into that fucking debate thing with Andrew Tate. But so I went and streamed from like Times Square, and it was really weird. I did not like streaming out in the open like that. You know what I'm saying? This was in July. It was practically now, July 20th of 2022, right? And it was like 3 years ago, right? And so, yeah, it was really weird. I mean, it's because people come and they sort of stream snipe you on the street, and they like people follow you, and people just are like weird. They do some weird fucking, I don't know. It's just weird. And what's more too, like, I don't know, there's something about like when you're a streamer on the street and everybody's watching your every move, you know what it does? I feel like it makes people like they overemphasize their personalities, right? You know what I mean? Because there's a camera on them and everybody's watching them because people are watching them have a camera. So I feel like street streaming inflates people's egos in a way that I think is like dangerous. I think bad shit happens because, yes, I think people are faker and they're more ego. They're way egoed because when they're streaming out in public, it's almost like they have an entourage, like they're a rock star, and it gets into this weird, like, ego-y fakeness where everything's like a performance for the camera and for the people watching and like, worship me, look at me, I'm the streamer, right? There's just something about it that I don't like the vibes, man. The thing I like about streaming is like the connection, right? Is the connection and the discussions and the you know what I mean? And so like the I feel like the IRL streaming it's probably a lot of that bad shit happens because of the ego-y nature of the thing. It's just a different beast. I like this a lot better though. You know? Yeah, you definitely get emboldened. It's definitely a different ego trip. But yeah, no, that was crazy. Yeah, there were some fun adventures, right? I had some fun adventures back in the fucking day, dude. I did. Right? Dude, there were a lot of good adventures in the gaming days, man. Oh, the good old days, man. Shit was nuts, bro. So funny. Dude, I like the pink hair, bro. Although I'm just glad to not be a gaming creator anymore. You know, the gaming creator was like, it was like so one-dimensional. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was fun to like fucking, you know, hang out with all the other fucking creators and meet all the greats of the time and shit. But being a gaming creator was like, I don't know, dude. It was just not substantial. You know, everything was like, right? You know, you had to make one face. It was like, right? Everything was like, hey, you know, dude. Everything was like, hey. Dude, it's true. You know, look at my car. Look at my necklace. Look at my watch. Hey, ah! Right? Everything is like I don't know. It's real empty for a guy who is like filled with fucking, depth. It was really hard. You know what I'm saying? For me to do that, because I had to play a character that I didn't love. You know what I mean? But I mean, it like, I don't know, it was a side of me, right? I could slide in, and I have that side of me, that ebullient sort of teenage side of me, but it's like, it just, I didn't feel satisfied. You know what I'm saying? Still watch gaming channels? Let's go. You know what I did do though, guys, the other day? This was like 2 days ago or some shit. But I was editing, and I actually had like the European Fortnite FNCS championship or whatever on my other monitor. I watched a little bit of Fortnite while I was editing, and it was like, oh my God, dude, I can't even, it's like so fast, right? The game has changed so much. Like they've made the game faster and crazier. It's like so hard to follow now. Dude, I can't even keep up anymore. Dude, I played with my kid a couple weeks ago. It's like, I'm glad I found politics, because I was just aging out, dude. The game's becoming too fast and too crazy. But I was a Fortnite player, right? I was like back in 2019, I started streaming on a PS4. And so I was the first old guy streaming Fortnite. And then I got involved with like these FaZe Clan competitions and shit. And then I qualified for FNCS, which no old guy had ever done. And so like, I was like this old competitive Fortnite dude who would like get these really good young dudes to play with me. And they would like carry me basically. Oh, it was fun though, dude. But then it became like, man, it just became so like big business. You know what I'm saying? Right? It's just, it got too crazy, right? It did. It got too crazy. Yeah, the gaming community is tough, dude. It's tough. More money, more problems. Yeah, I mean, what it was is in the beginning, there was a lot of camaraderie. And then what happened is once everybody started blowing up and making real money, like a lot of the camaraderie sort of disappeared. And then it became really like cutthroat and competitive. And that happens a lot, guys. That's not just gaming. The same shit happened in music. You know what I'm saying? The same shit happened in music. If you go to Seattle, right? You went to Seattle in like 89, 90. And it was a tight music scene. It was camaraderie. Everybody was fucking loving each other, right? But you go there by 94, people are moving from LA and New York to Seattle, trying to be Seattle bands to get signed. And then it becomes this competitive, everyone's trying to outdo everybody. And everybody, all the knifing in the back starts, and the alliances, and you gotta like have the right friends, and you know what I mean? It's like, dude, it always goes south, man. And you're right. For me, that's when it got like, I don't know, dude. It became more about the drama and the who's who and shit. Yeah, a lot of drama. And then you have to milk that drama to grow too, you know? You know what I mean? So I was like, dude, fuck that, bro. I just wanted no job. Right? That's why I did it. I did it because I didn't want to have a job. And then pretty soon it felt like a job. And I was like, fuck this, bro. I want a different job. See, it's weird. This doesn't really feel like a job. You know, I mean, sometimes I don't want to make videos. Sometimes I'm just not in the mood to edit. But then maybe I just don't make a video, or only make one that day. But no money in politics. Let's go, dude. Yeah, politics is different though, Duncan, though. You know what I mean? Because the thing about politics, at least for me, that's different is the so with gaming, it's like entertainment, right? And it's entertainment, and you're addicted to a game and fun and all that. But politics is like life or death. You know what I'm saying? Like politics is like serious, like human rights. Like the levers of power, like how much freedom people have and what kind of society we live in. So the stakes are so much higher that, like, I don't know, it doesn't feel like, you know, it's like the shit we're doing in politics feels like shit that I have to be doing, right? You know what I mean? You know, it's like, it's very different, you know? Get to work, change the world. I mean, I'm working on it, boss. Dude, let's start with the dance goal, shall we? We'll do our fucking dance goal, the usual. So guys, I want to look at the Epstein stuff. I want to look at this Medium article, guys. There's our goal. All right? Right? So I want to look at this because you know what I discovered, guys, in my research here that is outlined in this Medium article. You ready for this, guys? Let me just tell you, okay? Let me just tell you here. This is crazy, guys. So you know how they're trying to set up Ghislaine Maxwell. Trump's personal attorney goes and meets with Ghislaine, right? Todd Blanche. Everyone's like talking about her testifying. You ready for the bombshell, guys? You ready for this? Donald Trump was friends with Ghislaine Maxwell before Jeffrey Epstein. Donald Trump's longtime connection is to Ghislaine Maxwell. He met Epstein through Maxwell. Okay, it was Maxwell that hung out at Mar-a-Lago because of her association with Trump. That's why Epstein was even at the club. Okay, and if you look at this, right, if you go back in 1989, okay, Trump is photographed with Ghislaine Maxwell's father. Look at this, on his yacht. Okay, so this is Trump in 1989 with Ghislaine Maxwell's dad. So Trump was like connected to Ghislaine Maxwell's father and Ghislaine before Epstein. Okay, this is like his deeper connection. Isn't that weird? Isn't that fucking wild? Like, to me, that's pretty wild and seems really, really dangerous. You know, it seems really fucking dangerous. And yeah, no, he was a dirtbag. So it says Trump was photographed several times with Ghislaine's father aboard his yacht, the Lady Ghislaine. Okay, this guy's yacht was named after his daughter. There are several other accounts of a relationship between Trump, Robert, and Ghislaine Maxwell in the late 80s. For example, in Tara Palmieri's podcast and Craig Unger's book. Okay, now what happened, okay, is that then, see, Jeffrey Epstein, right? Jeffrey Epstein was never a member of Mar-a-Lago. Okay, he never became an official member. He was like a hanger-on with Ghislaine. And that could be like the Murdoch thing. Drogas, let's go, baby. We are the change. We are the numbers. You are right, boss. We're going to bring this shit home. But now, in 1990, Epstein purchases the El Brillo Way property in Palm Beach, 1.6 miles from Mar-a-Lago. Okay? And although Epstein had never properly joined the club, it was Trump's friendship with Ghislaine Maxwell that gave Epstein unlimited use of the facilities. So Epstein got the run of the place because of Ghislaine, right? It was so. This is really creepy, right? You're gonna run for a local office. Good for you. You should do it. This is really fucking creepy, guys. The fact that we're now entered into the territory where, you know, Trump is like, it's like Trump's long-standing family-connected friend is this woman in prison that no doubt is going to cover for him, okay? There's like no doubt in my mind that she is going to like show up and trade exonerating Donald Trump, and everybody he wants exonerated in exchange for, you know, coverage and getting out of jail. And you're right, Laurel. It does. It gets worse every day. Okay. In 𝗙cie 𝗏𝗡𝗏, Nicholas Nehamis, Caitlin Ostroff, and Jay Weaver's book, The Grifters Club, Ostroff claims to have seen a Mar-a-Lago membership registry, which indicates Epstein was actually a full member until October 2007. Okay, now we don't know if this is accurate because, again, these are people making claims. So people have said he was not a member. He was there through Ghislaine. There is somebody in that book. Caitlin Ostroff said he was a member. I've not seen the documents. I've seen no documents that say that he was actually a member. And then in November of 92 is the NBC archive footage showing Trump and Epstein being friendly at the Mar-a-Lago party, and Ghislaine Maxwell, she appears in the background. Okay, that's this footage right here. Right? That's this footage. There's Ghislaine. But that was the big party scene that we see. We see Ghislaine there in the background. All right, she is in the background right there. Okay, dude, Epstein he is so creepy, bro. He's so creepy looking, right? Isn't he just creepy? I don't know, dude. I think he's fucking creepy, bro. So then in 92, businessman George Horaney claims he organized a calendar girl competition at Mar-a-Lago with 28 contestants. Now, this is the party with just Trump and Epstein, okay, which was attended only by Trump and Epstein. The rumors are elaborated on by Horaney's then wife, Jill Harth, who would later sue Trump for sexual assault, which occurred in 97, okay? And there was some talk about him harassing her that night as well. Then in January of 93, Epstein and Trump are photoed with Eric and Ivanka right here. And this is also John Casablancas from Elite Models. That's the Look of the Year competitions. This is from January of 93. This is at the Harley-Davidson Cafe opening in Manhattan. Okay, so Trump brings his kids, right? And John Casablancas Trump would put Ivanka into Elite Models and, get her groomed in the modeling network as well. In June of 94, Trump participated in the abuse of Katie Johnson and Maria Doe in New York. This is from the Katie Johnson lawsuit and allegations. We saw her video. Okay, this is in 94. There are two women, Katie Johnson and Maria Doe. That was the duet. Katie Johnson talked about the girl who Trump said he was going to deport her if she didn't perform correctly, and Katie had to show her how to perform. That was in 94, okay, which would be shortly after this, right? Also in 94, another Doe claimed in a civil filing against Epstein's estate that Epstein showed her off to Trump at Mar-a-Lago when she was 14. Okay, this is another Jane Doe alleging that she was 14 and Epstein had been, trying to sell the goods to Trump at Mar-a-Lago. During Ghislaine Maxwell's 2021 trial, the same survivor reiterated the 1994 encounter and also claimed she had competed in a beauty pageant sponsored by Trump in the same year. Okay, so this is one of the people who testified at Ghislaine's fucking trial. Okay, that says you talked to your ex-boyfriend Matt, right? Right. Okay, and when you were 15, did you take a trip to Italy for a singing competition? I may have. I don't remember. I was 15. And at 16, you traveled for a sibling, maybe. And you were in a beauty pageant sponsored by Donald Trump? Yes. Do you recall crying that Jeffrey Epstein only gave you $2,000 for a dress? No. You were on a reality TV show with Matt, right? So this is a little out of context. I don't know exactly what this means. This guy's got a whole bunch of testimony. But there was a Jane Doe, okay? There's a Jane Doe who was a victim that testified in the trial. Now, we know that Annie Farmer testified showing her face. but a couple of Jane Does testified at Ghislaine's trial without showing their face. They had their identities hidden, and they still testified to this stuff. Let's see what this video is. Oh, it's just a weird fucking, it's video footage from the trial, but there's no, somebody wrote a song about her. All right. I thought that might be a court thing, but it's not. What does Mark Burnett know? I mean, we don't know, but he knows something. Okay. So it's crazy that one of the Jane Does that had filed a civil filing against his estate also testified against Ghislaine Maxwell in her trial. Now, look at this image right here. This is January of 1995. This is Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, Gwendolyn Beck, and Deborah Blum, okay? And they are all at Mar-a-Lago. Now, Gwendolyn Beck is another person that is connected to this Epstein thing. If we look at Gwendolyn Beck, we saw a picture of her and Melania right here, okay? She was accused of being involved in multiple orgies, okay? And look at this. This is a photo of Jeffrey Epstein, Gwendolyn Beck, Prince Andrew, and Melania, okay? And now we know about the Prince Andrew and 𝗙ص𝗶𝗏, right? We know about this image, okay? Oh, we're going to fucking... Okay, so I mean, you see how they're all connected? No, not Glenn Beck. Gwendolyn Beck. Okay, so there's Epstein and Epstein and Ghislaine and Gwendolyn Beck, and then Gwendolyn Beck, Epstein, Prince Andrew, and Melania, Prince Andrew, 𝗙ص𝗶𝗏, and Ghislaine Maxwell. Okay, now again, guys, we know that there is some trafficking involved here. Okay, we know there is, because think about this, guys. Think about Ghislaine Maxwell hanging with Prince Andrew. Okay, you know what I'm saying? She's hanging with Prince Andrew and billionaire Jeffrey Epstein, billionaire Donald Trump, right? All these wealthy fucking New York set. What is 𝗙ص𝗶𝗏, right, from a poor family, completely unconnected, doing in this set? You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, something's going on. She's not, you know, from the social class that is going to be hanging out with Prince Andrew, okay? We just know how this fucking society works. She's never going to get into, you know, Mar-a-Lago. You know what I'm saying? She's not going to, like, you don't just walk off the street as some high school girl and end up in the parties with Prince Andrew and shit. You know what I'm saying? You need access, okay? You need access from somebody like Ghislaine, okay? You need access from the inside. And yeah, Virginia may very well have been murdered. You know what I'm saying? She may very well. I mean, she said something like, if I die, it's not a suicide, you know? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so that connection, these guys are all like deeply connected. Okay, now in 96, okay, in 96, Maria Farmer, that's who we've been seeing on CNN and all these other news shows, she names Donald Trump as a likely co-conspirator during her tenure in Epstein's orbit, okay? Maria also claims in an interview with Whitney Webb that Trump's former wife, Ivana, assisted Maxwell in recruitment through this period. Holy shit, dude. Oh, shit. Oh, the YouTube account got nixed. I want to see that. I wonder if we have that, if that, like, thing is somewhere. Oh, shit. What are we doing here? Dude, Tommy, learn how to operate YouTube there, fucknuts. So here we go. Let's see what we got here. This is, all right, this is that's a weird fucking, dude, when I start seeing a whole bunch of Jewish flags on there, I'm like, dude, those guys are doing some weird shit. Right? It's like, oh shit, bro. There's some fucking, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, bro. Gonna end up in the anti-Semitic fucking red pill side of Twitter. Dude, they have like 10 pictures. Anytime you open something up and you see a picture of 10 people, all with Israeli flags under their pictures, you know, like, oh fuck, dude. There's some crazy fucking shit going on here. So I guess they have the phone call, right?
I can't. Important. She said, Maria, you don't understand. And then she's showing me like who she grew up with and how powerful he was and how much money they had. And then she goes on to tell me, she said, you know, Maria.
Yeah, but so the thing about being anti-genocide, that has nothing to do with fucking, right? Like putting fucking, when, you know what I'm saying? If you're showing pictures of 10 people and you're putting an Israeli flag under each of those 10 heads, you're like, that's not normal. You don't need to do that. You could literally just say all these people are connected to Israel. That, like, when you start like fucking associating people with flags, you know that they're feeding it to an anti-Semitic crowd. You know what I'm saying? They're just like saying, look at the, like, everything about that is trying to sell some weird, like, Judaism ruling the word George Soros shit. You know what I'm saying? Has nothing to do with being anti-genocide. It's like their methodology of, right? Because what's funny about that, guys, is again, this goes into a larger conversation. As we try to end genocide and try to fight for a Palestinian state, we have to be careful to see where the anti-Semitic, like, hate groups are using our movement to advance their own aims, okay? That's what we really need to be careful of. We need to be careful of not letting our movement be co-opted so they're piggybacking on us. You know what I'm saying? And I think it requires a lot of clarity, you know what I mean? Because there's Jewish people and then there's the government of Israel, okay? And there's anti-Semitic people don't separate between those two. You know what I mean? But anyway, so I'm going to have to go and look at this. I'm really curious about the Maria Farmer things, right? You know what I mean? I mean, dude, guys, it's not just like the anti-genocide stuff, okay? It's like this kind of stuff happens in the civil rights movement. You know what I'm saying? Right? It's like racist people try to co-opt whatever movement, right? You know what I'm saying? If somebody fights against, affirmative action because, whatever, they're fighting against some fucking ruling, all the racists will glom on to that thing. The affirmative action was a bad example. Trying to think of a good example with the fucking how racist co-op movements, right? It's just hard. You know what I'm saying? It's hard because there's a lot of bad actors. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of bad actors, and I've noticed a lot of bad actors trying to piggyback on the good actors. You know what I'm saying? And like, all right. So, but anyway, I'm not really going down that rabbit hole because I don't like the way I feel at the end of all that shit. I feel like I get infected with that. That can, like, when we want to discuss that, we can go to Hassan's stream and have those discussions. I'm going to stick to the Epstein shit. All right. So, so Maria Farmer named Donald Trump as a co-conspirator. This was when she reported to the FBI. So she claims in her interview with Whitney Webb that Ivana assisted Maxwell in recruiting through this period. Okay, though it should be noted that Trump and Ivana were divorced and Trump married to Marla Maples by the time Maria was working for Epstein. So we've heard what they say, where they say that Ivana got Ghislaine and Trump got Epstein. So somewhere along the line in the divorce, there was like a separation of Trump and Ivana, and there was a separation of Ghislaine and Epstein, or at least they diverged in the way they hung out. Okay. And so this claim that Ivana was helping Maxwell recruit, that's really interesting because Ivana, right, we know that her daughter Ivanka was into modeling. You know what I'm saying? And so it's possible that Maxwell was using the modeling as the front. I mean, this is what was happening a lot in the 90s, guys, whether it's, you know, elite models, Ford models, fucking Trump models. They were using modeling as a front to have access to young girls. Okay. So, I mean, Ivana could very well think she's recruiting models for Ghislaine Maxwell, and Ghislaine Maxwell could be then trying to channel those models into, you know, fucking, you know, the crazier Epstein stuff. Now, here's where we get into 97. We end up on the Lolita Express. Okay. According to flight logs, Trump traveled on Epstein's 727 with Epstein, Epstein's brother Mark, and Glenn and Ava Dublin from Palm Beach to Newark in 97. Okay. In a 2009 deposition, Mark recalls a flight with Trump. Okay. He elaborated he had personally traveled on Epstein's plane only once, but Trump traveled on it numerous times. Now, I know on the flight logs, we have at least 7 listed instances of Trump being on the plane. And Epstein's brother Mark said they were good friends. I know Trump is trying to distance himself, but they were good friends. Okay. Now, April of 97, Trump, Epstein, and Ingrid Cenk are photographed at the Victoria's Secret Angels party at Laura Bell Club in New York. All right. I've seen this photo. All right. This was, and she went on to be part of Trump models. Okay. And so they're all fucking hanging out in 97 doing the scene. Okay. Again, these people are all super connected. In 97, here's Maxwell, okay, is photographed at Trump's private apartment in Trump International Hotel and Tower. Of interest, below is the months Trump and his second wife, Marla, separated. So now this is Ghislaine, and this is not at a social event, guys. This is Ghislaine in 97 at Trump's apartment, okay, in Trump Tower. So now we're not even talking in the business offices. We're not talking in some society things. She's at his fucking house, okay? Now that's a big sign, okay? You do not get to Trump's apartment in Trump Tower unless you are like deep, deep inner circle, okay? Deep inner circle. You don't think this will pass? Yeah, no, we see the thing about it is, guys, we got to make sure this doesn't pass. Okay? We got to make sure that this doesn't pass. All right. So then October of 97, Trump and Maxwell are photographed at Ford Model's 50th anniversary party. Trump is wearing the same tie as in this November 1997 photo too. Okay? So, all right. Let's see. Oh, there he is. Oh, here it is. This is actually news pages. Look at that. There's Trump and Ghislaine and some other model woman. This is a photograph from the newspaper. Okay. This is 1997. Interesting. So all of these are links. Oh my gosh. So these are links to New York Magazine. There she is. Oh my God, there's Ghislaine Maxwell, right? And Katie Ford, okay, at Donald Trump's private apartment. Look at this. Dude, this is with, right? Elton. Oh, that's Elton John at the Rainbow Room. But so this is from the actual fucking New York Magazine. I didn't realize here they have all these tasty links. Hold on, I may have to go back and look at some of these links now for the video. This shit'll be good. Okay, this was Trump and all right, we've seen this. Oh, there we go. There's the full photo. All right, and Ingrid Sinhave right when she was signed as Trump models. All right. All right. All right. So there he is. There's another photograph of November of 97 of Trump and Ghislaine. Okay. Now also November 97, it says Trump has fallen under the spell of a 20-year-old English girl. An article appears in London's Sunday Mirror detailing a weekend trip by Maxwell and survivor 𝗙𝗪𝗓 𝗙𝗪𝗓 from New York to Mar-a-Lago, also claiming Trump put up 𝗙𝗪𝗓 in one of his New York apartments afterwards. Now, this article is interesting because this girl is mentioned by Maria Farmer. She actually gave her a shout out in that CNN piece or when she was on MSNBC with Jen Psaki, one of those two interviews. Maria Farmer actually talked about 𝗙𝗪𝗓 and she mentioned a couple of the victims. Okay, so this is crazy. It says just weeks after ditching his second wife, America's best-known billionaire Donald Trump has fallen under the spell of a 20-year-old English girl, Trump 50, who has failed in his bid to secure the services of Princess Diana's butler, Paul Burrell, was in search of another British trophy when he met London model 𝗙𝗪𝗓 𝗪𝗠 at a party in Manhattan. And none of his would-be rivals owned a vast mansion in Florida like Donald does, Mar-a-Lago, where I have dined with him and his outgoing wife, Marla, is enough to make any girl go weak in the knees. After their meeting, Trump flew Madam Maxwell, that's Ghislaine Maxwell, flew Madam Maxwell and the model south to the Sunshine State, where all three enjoyed a happy weekend together. When they returned to New York, 𝗙𝗪𝗓 was installed in one of Donald's many apartments there. So, dude, this is crazy. She's a victim. This is an actual news article about him flitting around with a 20-year-old model and Madam Maxwell. So again, guys, his ties to Ghislaine Maxwell are like deep. Okay. This is like deep. He is more connected to Ghislaine than he actually was to Epstein. Okay. There's a whole lot of state boundaries to be gallivanting across, and in my opinion, represents the smoking gun that Trump knew exactly what was going on. 𝗙𝗪𝗓 would elaborate on a relationship with Trump in a 2008 interview saying, "We're friends now, and I attended his wedding. He's adorable. He's been so kind to me. He's such a generous spirited person." Okay. The above is not the only suggestion that Trump was involved or knew about trafficking within Epstein's orbit. From Craig Unger in Vanity Fair, an associate of Epstein's who asked not to be identified told me that Epstein showed him one photo of Trump with a topless young girl. In another, the source said Trump is with two young girls who are said to be laughing as they point out what appears to be a wet spot in an unfortunate location on his pants. The description of the photo suggested that it was a semen stain, but the photos have never been released. Okay? So there's a little bit of hearsay, but we're finding out that some people have said they've seen compromising photos. Now, I've heard this in multiple instances, but I have not actually, none of this shit has actually come out. Right? But that is pretty wild, guys. Okay? Now, it's interesting because 𝗙𝗪𝗓, she, I think, changed her tune later on. Okay? Now, in 1997, Trump and Epstein are photographed at Mar-a-Lago. Okay? Also in 97, journalist Mark Singer recounts traveling on Trump's plane with Maxwell one weekend not long ago in a Trump puff piece. Okay, so there's a Trump piece from 97, and I guess we can't get into it because it's locked. But in this article, all right, Trump's solo. In this article, Mark Singer talks about traveling on Trump's plane with Maxwell. Okay. Yeah. I mean, the more research I do here, guys, the more I start to believe that Maxwell is more central to the conspiracy than Trump. Okay. Dude, I'm going to check in real quick on the dance party. We got 30 minutes left. 9 to go, baby, for a dance party. But it looks like Maxwell is more central than Trump is. Like this Trump Maxwell, they may be setting up for the perfect storm of trying to get him off by Maxwell testifying to exonerate him. Now, one thing I will say, though, guys, is I guarantee you that there are so many reporters and independent media people around the country that are doing deep research on this, trying to sort this shit out, that we know for a fact that if they find anything, they're going to bring it out. Everybody's hunting for this. So I don't think it's going to be as easy as Ghislaine comes up and just exonerates him and he necessarily gets away with it. I mean, I know they're going to try that. I know that's their plan, but I think we all have to keep pedal to the metal and keep investigating this. And I know a lot of reporters are. Now, here's another one in 97. Trump, Maxwell, and Ann Jones are photographed in New York in the Mirror. Okay. And we've all seen this photograph here. Dude, borrow bad. Let's go, baby. Yeah, dude, it's $2. It should be $2 or more. Yeah. No, it's $2 or more, isn't it? Or, oh, wait a sec. Did I do the wrong goal? Oh, fuck, bro. Hold on. I may have done the wrong goal. Dude, let me restart this. Dude, I did the wrong goal, guys. That was a fuck up, bro. It's supposed to be the $2 ones. No, it's not teal. It's fucking light blue. Sorry, guys. We're going to reset and start. My bad. Dude, I fucked up. Dude, next time I do that, fucking tell me earlier, dude. I didn't realize that it's always the $2 ones. Dude, fuck. All right, that's all right. We'll start it over. But so we've all seen this picture. Your last $2, that's all right. Somebody else will get it. If we get 9, we'll count it. All right. So this is Ghislaine with Epstein. All right. And it looks like this photo. Look at them, dude. They're in 95. Okay. There's Maxwell and her parents when she was younger. All right. This goes back to, that's Ghislaine Maxwell and her dad. Again, if we go back to this Medium article, we have Trump all the way back here with Maxwell's fucking dad. All right. Which is over here. All right. Maxwell's fucking father. There's Trump in the room at the yacht. Okay. You look at the low ceilings. They're in the yacht. This is fucking, and here we have, right? Here we have another photograph of that's Ghislaine and her father when she was younger, right? We have Epstein and Ghislaine. We have somewhere in here this is the photo here with Ann Jones and Ghislaine. Now, oddly enough, look at Ghislaine, dude. I think she's wearing the same shit as she was. Isn't she wearing the same outfit from his private apartment? Is this in Trump's private apartment? Was this the same picture? Because look, remember we had this picture here? It is. It's the same outfit from the anniversary party. Okay. No, not that one. From this one, from New York Magazine. Look, that's the same outfit, guys. And this was in 97. So this picture, same outfit. may very well have been on the same night, right? We don't know how they do that, or maybe she wore that outfit multiple times. Not normally did they fucking, you know, if they're going to be photographed, are they wearing the same shit? But that's interesting, isn't it? Right? So we don't even know if that photo may have been from the same fucking night, right? This is also in 97. Okay. So anyway, there is quite a bit of connection here. These guys are not just, it's not just socialite shit. Okay. It's not just socialite stuff. And that's how a lot of this was painted, right? A lot of this was Trump trying to say, oh, I didn't really even know these people. These people were, I saw them at events, and a lot of them try to do that sort of thing. But clearly, Ghislaine being at his private apartment, you know that she's deep inner circle. Okay. In 98, Trump meets his third wife, Melania Knauss. That's Melania, right? And the New York Times reports Epstein's claimed two people after Trump's to have introduced Trump to Melania in 98. These claims are unverified and do not accord with other accounts. So there is some unverified possibility that Epstein was saying he introduced them. However, it's not verified. We can't actually take that as word. All right. In 99, Trump Model Management, then T Models, is founded. The company would be implicated in trafficking models from Eastern Europe to work in the U.S. without proper visas. Oh, look at that, guys. Huh. Isn't that interesting that our little Donald Trump, Mr. Anti-Immigration guy, his modeling company was implicated in trafficking models from Eastern Europe to work without being, right? Without being fucking having papers. Huh. Isn't that interesting? How the illegal immigration was certainly fine with him in 99 when he had models coming into town. All right. Former models have said in the media and in court documents that they live. Matt, let's go. Thank you for the membership. Former models have said in the media and in court documents that they lived in tightly packed shared quarters, paid high rents and fees, and received little income. And so what do you know, guys? The models that came here for Trump's, T models outfits, they lived like animals. They got overcharged for rent and they hardly made any money. So Trump treated them the same way he's treated anybody who has fucking worked on him. Okay. It is relevant because models once contracted to Trump Model Management, such as Russian Anna Malova, also spent time in Epstein's orbit. Oh, that's interesting. So there are fucking people, right, that are crossing the orbit, right? Isn't that interesting, guys? Right? That, the people that were in Trump's model management were also part of the, Epstein's orbit as well, right? There are also claims that Epstein wanted to set up his own modeling agency emulating Trump's approach. For example, from journalist Julie K. Brown.
There is a comment in one of the court files where Epstein is quoted as saying, I want to set up my modeling agency the same way Trump set up his modeling agency. I don't know what that means, but it is curious that he was trying to do something similar to Trump.
We all say thanks to you, Julie Brown and Miami Herald, joining us on this Sunday morning. Appreciate the time.
All right, so that's interesting. I guess that Epstein whatever Trump was doing with his modeling agency, Epstein wanted to emulate that. All right. And from the Miami Herald interview with Epstein and Maxwell co-conspirator Jean-Luc Brunel's bookkeeper, Marita Vasquez, Epstein enjoyed hanging out backstage at beauty pageants and fashion shows with his Palm Beach and New York neighbor and friend Donald Trump, former model said. He admired Trump's T Models agency, which represented Slovenian model and future First Lady Melania Knauss, and wanted MC2 to be just like it. Vasquez said he told her at MC2's opening party. So again, we don't know why Epstein wanted to emulate Trump's models. We don't know what he meant by that. Maybe it was like offshoring, right? Because think about this, okay? Think about if Trump was bringing women in from Eastern Europe and then he was like putting them up in apartments and charging them rent and hardly paying them. They were sort of trapped here in America under his control. Maybe that's what Epstein was talking about, was bringing in young girls from Europe, Eastern Europe, that would have no way to like, fly the coop. You know what I'm saying? Then in 99, survivor Virginia Roberts Giuffre is recruited at Mar-a-Lago. Okay. Again, we go back to her. She was the fucking, right? She was the towel girl or hat check girl or what have you, right? Virginia Giuffre, we saw her picture, right? Hold on, let me find it. Again, this is the image, right? Which I think is important. So this is our image. Let me find I feel like we can get a better one that doesn't have the color all whacked out. Dude, that one was crazy. Somebody fell asleep on the fucking saturation button, bro. There we go. Okay. Oh, that's just the two of them. Dude, give me a good clean look. There we go. All right, so there it is. So there's the photo. But again, right, this is, I made a video about Katie Johnson, right? You can go watch the video. I did a whole video on her. Again, we have Virginia Giuffre, who was like a coat check girl at Mar-a-Lago. She had a tiny, like non-existent, non-important role, right? Like a low-wage worker at Mar-a-Lago. She's like 16 years old, and she ends up with Prince Andrew, okay, because of her, okay? The hat check girl, you know what I'm saying? The fucking hat check girl at Mar-a-Lago is not going to end up in the room with fucking Prince Andrew, okay? That's just not fucking... That's just not normal. You know what I'm saying? That's not a normal thing to have happen. Who took the photo? I don't know who took the photo. Andrew said it's fake, but I know there have been claims about that, but I believe Virginia Giuffre has said the photo is real, right? I mean, the photo, it's not a professional photo, right? If you look at it, it's just like a hand camera. I have no idea who took the photo, right? But it's just like a regular snap camera. You know what I'm saying? How you fake photos? Yeah. I mean, this photo was around for a long time. You know what I'm saying? This photo didn't just appear like last year, right? You know what I mean? This photo was around for a long time. Okay. And I believe they like have traced this location or something, right? But obviously Prince Andrew though, I mean, here he is with Epstein and Gwendolyn Beck and fucking Melania. I don't think he's really, you know what I'm saying? I don't think he's really a reliable fucking witness at this point, you know? But anyway, so Virginia Roberts in 99, she gets recruited via Mar-a-Lago from her, low income, like hat check girl or hostessing job. She ends up being connected to hanging out with Prince Andrew and going to the island and all this other shit. Okay. Now 99 also, rumors that Epstein and Maxwell co-conspirator Jean-Luc Brunel lived in Trump Tower but left after complaints of night carousing. So there were rumors that Epstein and Jean-Luc Brunel were living in Trump Tower, but left after like making a whole bunch of fucking... The owners of MC2 models are denying industry speculation that massage maven Jeffrey Epstein is a secret financial backer of the agency being run by scandal-scarred Jean-Luc Brunel, who was once accused of taking advantage of underage models. So, I mean, he's definitely keeping fucking... This is from 2007, guys. Look at this shit. This is an article from 2007, okay? This is years before this came into the collective subconscious of the world. And already, okay, Epstein agreed to plead guilty to soliciting underage prostitutes. So this was right when Acosta gave him the plea deal, okay? And so he was involved with a modeling company, MC2, had offices in New York, Miami, and Tel Aviv. One of the girls, Epstein 54, was accused of soliciting massages from, was described in court documents as being just 14. Massage maven. Yeah, isn't that wild? Dude, they're being all clever with this, but this is fucking, this is right after he got busted. And then it says here, though, that Karen's Models founder Brunel, who's currently a partner in MC2, denied allegations in 97 60 Minutes segment that he took advantage of young models who were high on drugs. Brunel also reportedly left his Trump Tower digs in 99 after complaints of night carousing. Now, Jean-Luc Brunel was involved in the models, like Karen Models was around at the same time as Casablancas' elite models when they had the Look You competitions. And Jean-Luc Brunel was like gotten a lot of trouble, or like, you know, the early days of canceling because of his behavior, right? Because of his behavior around these teen models. So these guys were hanging in the fucking crowd that was all like no bueno. All right, hold on. Let me clean up some of these tabs here. We can get rid of that one. We can get rid of that one. Yeah, I feel like that one's going to come in handy there. All right. Check the superintendent. Yeah, I made a video about him today. That was today's YouTube video. It's about him. All right, so now we're into 2000. Okay, Trump, Epstein, Melania, and Maxwell are photographed together at a Mar-a-Lago party. There are several photographs from the party and also a contemporaneous Palm Beach Post article about it. Prince Andrew was also in attendance, despite Trump's recent claims to not know him. Now, guys, this picture alone, we know that Trump knew fucking Prince Andrew. It's Prince Andrew with his fucking wife. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? Like, come on, man. We know he knew who fucking Prince Andrew was. Him trying to say he didn't know who Prince Andrew was is fucking outrageous. But so let's see. There are several photographs here. So we've seen these. Oh, this is from the same night. Dude, look at this. Here's Epstein, and look at all these photographs from this same night. Okay, we have the foursome, right? We have a couple different photos of the foursome. We have Prince Andrew and Melania and Gwendolyn Beck and Epstein. All right, and yes, he's wearing the same shit. This is the same night. This is we saw this picture earlier. This is the woman who what was her name? That was a fucking picture from early. Right? Where was it? Right there, right? That was Gwendolyn Beck. It's another one of her. All right, let's see where we're at. Dude, I don't know who this is. Who is this part? Who is this person? I don't know who this is. Dude, it is Epstein and a Norwegian college student, Selena Middelfart, right? All right, dude, at Mar-a-Lago in 95. Dude, what the hell, dude? That's a weird photo too, right? Epstein and some 20-year-old fucking Right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Prince who? Dude, Epstein and some 20-year-old college girl? Right? Oh, shit. And here is, you know, more of Epstein and fucking Ghislaine. This is obviously the same night. There we go. There's fucking Trump and Melania. Look at Epstein back here photobombing. All right. Dude, these guys were all, I mean, they all were chummy, bro. Super chummy. Who's this? This is Epstein. Oh, this is another picture of her in 97. 2 years later, she's now 22. Dude, he's like all for the youngins. Oh, look at Epstein here, bro. Dude, he looks freakish, right? Musician Michael Bolton and Jeffrey Epstein. Uh-oh. Michael Bolton. Look at Epi right there, dude. He looks a little cracked out in that photo. Dude, Melania, yeah. I mean, Melania, I like, we don't know how deep she goes, but she was definitely, I mean, some of these photos, she looks pretty crazy. Okay, now, in March of 2000, Epstein flew from New York to Palm Beach on Trump's plane in the company of Maxwell and a young woman. Okay, so this is an article. She was made up to look older. She was uncomfortable. Jeffrey Epstein took a young girl on Donald Trump's plane, possibly sex trafficking the teen across state lines right under the now president's nose, claims a journalist. This is a journalist, Michael Corcoran. He was traveling with Trump to write a profile about him, and he remembers Epstein, Maxwell, and a very young girl in 2000 getting on that plane. Okay? And Epstein, Maxwell, and the girl were late for the takeoff time. Trump was really angry, screaming, "Never be late," right? I do remember thinking the girl was pretty attractive. I realized she was young. I thought she could be anywhere from 15 to 20. Okay? Now, this is something that happened in 2000. Reporters are accounting this, right? Correction? 22. Oh, 22 and mature? Dude, this is crazy. Yeah, another young girl, right? Another one. I mean, it's just a constant. Then here is the September 2000, Trump and Maxwell at a non-John fashion show, right? That is them in doing the fashion scene together. Again, they're super chummy. October 2000, Trump, Melania, and Ghislaine Maxwell at Heidi Klum's Hookers and Pimps party. Okay, and this was written about. This is the picture of them. There's Melania Trump and Ghislaine wearing a fucking, right? This is, again, Ghislaine and Prince Andrew. This is at the hooker. Heidi Klum had a Hookers and Pimps party. All right, but look at her. She's all chummy with Prince Andrew. Like, man, dude, he is like deeply connected to Ghislaine, right? See, it's crazy, guys, because it's almost like Ghislaine is as tightly fucking connected, right? As tightly connected. Heidi Klum, yeah, the model. Remember her? She was a model, right? She was a pretty famous model from the late 90s, early 2000s. Right? And didn't she end up on like America's Next Top Model or what's that model, Project Runway or something? I feel like she was on Project Runway. Didn't she do Project Runway? She did. Yeah, she did Project Runway as well. Right? Heidi Klum. Dude, I loved that show. Project Runway. Dude, it was so good, man. Oh, I loved that. I love that show. Dude, Project Runway is a really good show. I like the fashion industry, guys. I almost went back to school later in life to study fashion design. I fucking love the fashion world, man. I do. I've always been fascinated by it. But as you see here, Ghislaine is like super chummy, guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, isn't this crazy? Like, Ghislaine is like at the center of this, which is very worrisome with the way that this is playing out. Okay, here we go. British socialite Lady Victoria a former model within Epstein's orbit, claims she attended a 14-person London dinner party that had Prince Andrew, Bill Clinton, and Donald Trump. Now, this is Donald Trump saying, hey, man, I never met Prince Andrew.
People, you had an extraordinary dinner, I think, in London, didn't you, where Donald Trump was there?
Look at Piers, dude.
And Epstein and Prince
Bill
Andrew.
Clinton.
And Bill
Yeah,
Clinton.
Bill Clinton as well.
So the small dinner party, and you're
did.
sitting there with all these extraordinary people.
You know, I was very young and very impressionable, and, you know, Jeffrey was a very charismatic man. You know, he would walk into a room and people would take notice. With him and Ghislaine, it was kind of like teamwork. He had the finance, she had the black book, and they were, you know, they were a great pair together, and kind of together they were sort of taking over the world.
But that dinner party,
and they were sort of,
that dinner party,
yeah.
So how many people were there?
Not many. I would say probably about 14 people,
14
maybe.
people, and that includes President Bill Clinton, President now Donald Trump, Jeffrey Epstein, and Prince Andrew. I mean, that's an extraordinary dinner party for a young model like you to have attended.
Dude, look at Piers before he became a shock jock, dude. Look at him. He's like, dude, like, what's he doing, bro? He's wearing he's dressed like Donald Trump, dude. Oh,
what was
shit.
it like, that dinner?
Definitely. It was, I was excited to be there, you know. It was, yeah, I mean, I remember it. There was, yeah, some other businessmen that I know as well, that I've known over the years. But it was a very intimate, you know, very intimate dinner, and it was
What were
very
you
relaxed,
there
actually.
for, do you think? What was your purpose of being there as a guest?
I guess I was there to look pretty, you know.
And I think you've mentioned before, Lady Victoria Harvey, that you think that when it's specifically...
All right, so she's at a dinner that has all of these guys there. All right, in October 2002, Trump acknowledges Epstein's taste in women on the younger side in the New York Magazine puff piece grossly titled Jeffrey Epstein's International Money Man of Mystery. Look at this article, dude. They wrote an article. Look at Epstein and Bill Clinton, right? He's pals with a passel of Nobel Prize winning scientists, CEOs like Leslie Wexner of The Limited, socialite Ghislaine Maxwell, even Donald Trump. But it wasn't until he flew Bill Clinton, Kevin Spacey, and Chris Tucker to Africa on his private Boeing 727 that the world began to wonder who he is. International Money Man of Mystery. Isn't that crazy? Like, look at this article that they fucking wrote. This was in fucking 2002. This was 5 years before he got busted, right? Dude. Clinton? Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, dude, it's going to be like everybody should get outed and then have to sort this out. What was Chris Tucker doing there? Well, so a lot of these guys, though, were also doing fucking philanthropic work, right? And so one of the things that Jeffrey Epstein did was he had a lot of money, so he became a go-to guy of investing money to various philanthropies. Like, oh, you want to stop the spread of AIDS in Africa? Like, I'll fucking do that with you, blah, blah, blah. I'll find money for you. And so part of it, though, is this what makes this so complicated? Is there are some people that were doing legitimate business with him, and then there were some people that were, you know, sexually abusing teenage girls with him, but both of those groups are not necessarily mutually exclusive. You know, I mean, this is what's going to be fucked up when this erupts, is because everybody's going to be stained by the association, whether they were doing something criminal or not. But it was his ticket to that crowd, right? Like for Jeffrey Epstein to go from being a hanger-on, like boyfriend of Ghislaine Maxwell, the socialite, to flying the president to Africa, right? That at that point, if he gets to fly Bill Clinton and Kevin Spacey and Chris Tucker to Africa. Now, like, he's legitimized. He's going to get in every fucking big social room out there, right? Which is another one of those things, is for him to find his clientele. Part of that was involved in getting into those high power, high echelon rooms. So there's some people that are going to go down rightfully, and there will probably be some people that'll go down that didn't even do anything. You know what I mean? And you know, right? But so many of them may have known. I mean, we know Donald Trump knew. In this article, Trump fucking acknowledges, right? In that article, Trump acknowledges, I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. No doubt about it, Jeffrey enjoys his social life. So he knew, right, in that article, right? In the book, Relentless Pursuit, attorney Bradley Edwards recalls an interview with Trump in which Trump claimed the quote was written by Epstein and attributed to him with permission. So we don't know if that's true, but, you know, we don't know about that, but it sounds like Trump trying to write it off. Okay. November 2002, Trump, Maxwell, Melania, and Naomi Campbell attend the Dolce & Gabbana opening at Dolce & Gabbana. Okay. So this is another set of, I guess it's just that one picture, but there they are at an opening. Again, Ghislaine, she is in deep. March 2003, Trump is named as a dinner guest at Epstein's New York townhouse in Vicky Ward's storied VF puff piece and a New York Magazine gossip piece. Okay, so this is like, there's a dinner at Epstein's townhouse and now Trump is there. All right, this is fucking crazy. Okay, the talented Mr. Epstein. So this was a feature in Vanity Fair, right? This is, when was this? 2003. Jeffrey Epstein's high-flying style has been drawing oohs and ahs. The bachelor financier lives in New York's largest private residence, claims to take only billionaires as clients, and flies celebrities, including Bill Clinton and Kevin Spacey, on his Boeing. But pierce his air of mystery and the picture changes. Vicky Ward explores Epstein's investment career, his ties to retail magnate Leslie Wexner, and his complicated past. So that's wild, dude. She was doing a featurette around him. So he was like blowing up back then. Okay. This is crazy that he was like blowing up back then. Okay. That is 2003 Vanity Fair. And Trump was at Epstein's house for a private dinner. Okay. This is like, you know, called the Limited. Yeah. And the residence was gifted to him. Isn't that, didn't Wexner give him that fucking house? That $80 million house? It's like an $80 million fucking house in New York City. I mean, that shit is crazy, dude. Right? When you think about it, look at that fucking, it's insane, dude. To have a house like that in New York City, unfucking real. Dude, I mean, he's dead now, right? So having that house didn't really amount to much, but all right. But again, Trump is at his house for dinner. In Trump's 2005 book, Trump, How to Get Rich, the Hallmark Week in the Life chapter contains this context-less nugget logged at 4:30 p.m. on a fall Tuesday afternoon. Says, this is in Trump's book, How to Get Rich. The mysterious Jeffrey calls in. As mysterious as Jeffrey is, he's one of the few people I know who can get by on just a first name. My staff never asks for a last name in his case, which in a way puts him right up there with Elvis. Not that Elvis calls in much these days, but you never know. Now, dude, that's a really interesting reference, too, to refer to Elvis, because Elvis, you know, dated fucking a teen girl and fucking married her. You know what I'm saying? Right? So that's pretty crazy. Okay. And November 2004, Epstein called Trump and spoke on the telephone twice in November, according to message pads seized from Epstein's El Brillo Way property obtained by Vice. Okay. And so they talked twice in November. Also in 2004, claims that Trump and Epstein fell out about recruitment at Mar-a-Lago and or a dispute over property deal. The claims about recruitment are elaborated in Patterson's book, Filthy Rich, and are corroborated in an affidavit by attorney Bradley Edwards. Note these claims specifically relate to Epstein attempting to recruit the daughter of a Mar-a-Lago member. Survivor Virginia Giuffre, an employee of Mar-a-Lago, was recruited there in 1999. So it looks like there's a possibility that Epstein was trying to recruit the daughter of a Mar-a-Lago member. Interesting, right? That's interesting. And that led to some bad blood. So we don't know. Other speculation was about the property deal. The claims about a dispute over a property deal originate in the Washington Post. Trump and Epstein bid against each other for the former beachfront property of nursing home magnate Abe Gossman, which Gossman had purchased from Epstein confidant Leslie Wexner in 1988. 4 years after the auction, which Trump won, Trump sold it to Russian businessman Dmitry Rybolovlev for $95 million. Jesus, more than doubling his investment. Now, see, this is crazy, though, guys, because this is one of those things that came up later, okay? Because Trump wins this auction for this property that had belonged, right? So Gossman purchased it from Wexner. Trump buys it and wins the auction. And then literally, right, like a couple years later, he sells it for double, like more than double what he paid for it. Like an obscene amount of money. Like he sold it to the Russians for like so much more money than any property in that area was selling for. It was one of those deals where the amount of money he sold it for was like crazy. And there were instances of that shit going on in Trump Tower too. People buying fucking apartments for outrageous amounts of money, like way, way, way above market value. Okay, because the market in we're talking 2004 to 2008. You know what I mean? That's even the market crashed right around then. I don't know if this shit was fucking happened after the crash or before, but even before the crash, nobody was selling a fucking $100 million property in Florida at that time. It was very unusual. On top of all of this, there's some confusion about the timing of the ban. The first reports emerged in October 2007, around time of Epstein's conviction. This timeline is corroborated by the authors of the book, The Grifters Club, who claim to have cited a Mar-a-Lago membership registry that indicated Epstein was a full member until October of 2007. Okay, so this is all right, I'm not going to go through the ad thing. So that's interesting that see again, guys, I've postulated before that I thought Trump may have been the one who sold Jeffrey out in the first place. Okay? That maybe involved in the real estate deal or the fact that recruiting was going on at Mar-a-Lago and Trump was worried that he was going to get tagged, right? Like Trump discovered that Epstein was recruiting, right? And he's trying to outbid him for this property. All of a sudden, Epstein is getting bigger than Daddy Trump. What a great way for Trump to sort of exercise control over his own fate than to snitch on him and get him arrested and put him through that whole thing. And then Alex Acosta lets him off. So he ultimately gets off, but he knows now if you ever speak out against Trump or fuck around with Trump, like you will be ended. We have it all on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, right? I mean, if you think about it, what a perfect way for Trump to guarantee that nobody ever leaks on him by, hey, man, now all of a sudden you're facing federal charges, right? I don't know. It feels like a very Trumpian sort of thing to do. Okay, but it does look like, he may have actually gotten booted from Mar-a-Lago and excommunicated after he got arrested. Finally, journalist Michael Wolff claims Trump and Epstein may have outed each other to police as a result of the fallout. There are suggestions this is also what Epstein believed, right? Oh, interesting. And fucking, so Michael Wolff talked to this too, made the same claims, right? There are suggestions this is also what Epstein believed. However, the story is inconsistent with other evidence concerning how the 2005 investigation began, which was a concerned mother finding $300 in her teen stepdaughter's purse. But there is that. I forgot about that there was the mother of one of those young girls that did find that money and called the Palm Beach police. And like that did sort of start the investigation too, right? But yeah, dude, he's definitely, I don't know, man. He's definitely went dirty. But right here, though, there's suggestions that Epstein believes Trump ratted him out as well. All right, in 2005, the Palm Beach police investigation into Epstein begins. 2008, he pleads guilty to 2 felony prostitution charges and is sentenced to 18 months in prison. He had 12 hours a day work release, so he was only in prison at night and on like one day of the weekend. And he had the cushiest prison schedule, but this was the plea deal where Alex Acosta gave him immunity and let him off on all federal charges behind the backs of the victims. In September 2009, Juan Alessi, who worked for Epstein from 91 to 2002, said in a deposition that Trump would come have dinner at Epstein's 𝗙𝗪𝗈 property. He also says Trump did not take massages while he was there. Okay. In 2009, attorney Bradley Edwards claims Trump was the only person to respond to a series of subpoenas issued to Epstein's influential friends.
Now, just one more question on that document, and this goes to the more salacious rumors, but I would like you to just, whatever you can say on it. Obviously, our current president has had relationships with Epstein in the past, and there are those Katie Johnson and maybe other victims who have accused Trump of being involved in things like this. In my experience, Trump supporters will not listen to anything along those lines. Obviously, we're not a court of law here right now, but are those claims of that case was dropped? It was dropped before it went to court. In your opinion, as a lawyer and your experience, is there anything you can say as to the validity of those claims, or whether or not there will be any more about that?
Nothing at all. The only thing that I can say.
See, this guy's covering for Trump for sure.
About President Trump is that he is the only person who, in 2009, when I served a lot of subpoenas on a lot of people, or at least gave notice to some pretty connected people that I wanted to talk to them, he is the only person who picked up the phone and said, let's just talk. I'll give you as much time as you want. I'll tell you what you need to know.
See, of course, though, if you're guilty, right, that's absolutely what you would do, right? The whole, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, leaning into the thing is a technique, okay? If you are connected. For example, can I give you an example, guys? All right. Now, don't hold this against me, but I was driving while intoxicated with a friend once in Santa Monica, California, and I made a wrong turn onto Santa Monica Boulevard where it's a one-way. And so I started driving into 4 lanes of oncoming cars, one of which was an LAPD officer. And I was like, holy fuck, I've been drinking. I'm going to go to jail. So you know what I did? I rolled my window down and I flagged the officer to me, right? I was like, please come here. And the officer pulled up right next to me, pulled his window down. And I said, I am totally lost. Can you tell me where such and such is? I just made the most, like, I'm so panicked right now driving this wrong way. And he was like, don't worry about it. You need to like go up there and make a left on the 2nd Street. He actually stopped the traffic for me so I could turn around, okay? Because when you're about to go down, bringing them to you, it's a technique, guys, to like, you know what I'm saying? If I hadn't waved the cop over, he's pulling me over. But I wave him over like he's not thinking I'm guilty of anything. He was like, oh, this guy needs my help. Quick thinking on my part. But again, right? So Trump's behavior here is like pretty standard for, not wanting to get in trouble. Okay, in 2010, Epstein pleaded the fifth when asked if he had socialized with Trump in the presence of females under the age 18. Okay, now we have this. Okay, let me find this clip here. Right. I want to find, it's this one.
Have you ever had a personal relationship with Donald Trump?
What do you mean by personal relationships?
Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
All right, so he wouldn't answer that question. You see that little head shake there, too? Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of girls under the age of 18? Taking the 5th. I mean, guys, if the answer is no, why you taking the 5th, right? I mean, come on, man. That is a no-brainer, okay? In a 2011 Daily Mail interview with journalist Sharon Kutcher, 𝗙𝗎𝗍 claims Donald Trump was also a good friend of Jeffrey's. He didn't partake in sex with any of us, but he flirted with me. He'd laugh and tell Jeffrey, "You've got the life." So 𝗙𝗎𝗍 said that Trump wasn't involved in sex with any of her crew, but that doesn't mean Trump wasn't involved with a little bit more of a private shit. I mean, we know that Trump most certainly was, probably much more careful, okay? Like what happened when Maria Farmer met him in that dark office building. Trump came in and Jeffrey's like, no, she's not for you. She's not here for you, okay? Trump is much more careful, okay? He's not going to have sex with, a young girl at an open sex party in front of a bunch of other people, okay? It just means he didn't have sex with 𝗙𝗎𝗍. I mean, she had worked at Mar-a-Lago too. Like, I'm certain Trump's not going to be involved in that batch, right? In court documents, Virginia claims the headlines were invented by 𝗙𝗎𝗪, that Trump had not flirted with her, nor had she seen him with any minors, nor at any of Epstein's properties. So we know from other sources above that Trump did visit Epstein in New York and Palm Beach. So that's interesting. When she went to court, she did an interview. And then when she went to court, she changed up her story a little bit. All right. Then Epstein's plane. Here we go. This is Epstein's fucking plane right here, parked next to Trump's plane in Palm Beach. Look at that. Their planes are parked right next to one another. All right. That's not an accident. All right. Now, in January of 2015, Trump is named, as well as Ivana, Ivanka, and Robert, in Epstein's little black book. After it turned up in court proceedings, Trump was identified by the butler who provided the book as a potential material witness. And look at this, dude. Look at all the numbers. There were literally fucking every Trump number. Had his email, his offices, his home, his private cell number, his Palm Beach numbers, right? Like he had every number for Trump and Melania. Okay. He had all of them. His fucking house people. He had his security, head of security, Norma for direct emergency. He literally had every way to contact Donald Trump that was possible. All of them. Okay. Having the fucking, right, the emergency numbers is crazy, dude. February 2015, at the annual CPAC, Trump brings up Epstein and Clinton. Okay, this is now.
Bill Clinton.
Nice guy. Got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island with Jeffrey Epstein. A lot of problems.
Now, see, this is Trump, okay, 2015, right before he was running for president. This was Trump using the Epstein is a Clinton thing. And this was something that Trump and the Republicans and all of the right-wing influencers have done, that Epstein was a Clinton thing, a Democrat thing, a Hollywood thing, Hollywood elite pedo ring Pizzagate thing, right? This was their narrative of like sort of taking the fucking, you know, taking the complete heat off of them, right? You know what I mean? It was, and now though they've turned tail on this, right? You know what I'm saying?
Barack Obama.
Incompetent president.
Dude, Sam, nobody's saying that he bought Epstein's plane. There was no claim about that at all, right? That, I don't know where you're getting that. This is just the fact that they were parked next to each other in Palm Beach. You know what I'm saying? He didn't buy Jeffrey Epstein's plane. This is the fact that when they get on their private planes, they're both parked in the same area, ostensibly like fucking, you know what I'm saying? Ostensibly like, I don't know, coming and going, leaving at the same time, moving things. This is, you know, years before the campaign. Okay. He did rent it. During, for a campaign thing. Chris, let's go, baby. All right, guys. Dude, that's fucking 2, boss. We have 11 minutes. Oh, shit. Dude, I don't know why the goal's not fucking... Why isn't the goal not adding? I don't know what's going on, dude. Fucking goal is killing us. But he rented it during the campaign. But this was 12 years ago in 2013. And that they were like plane neighbors. Okay? But again, here he is, you know, trying to throw Clinton with this.
Okay. You obviously...
So there we go. He was like Clinton, Epstein, Clinton. Yes, he did charter it. Oh, did somebody say this? Oh, I got you. No, now I see what Sam was talking about. You were talking about bleeding green. Got it. Okay. Yeah. No. I see what you're saying. You were talking to that person. Yeah. Chartered it. Dude, let's go. All right. So now it has been reported that Trump met with AMI CEO David Pecker in the weeks leading up to the conference and discussed copies of the Inquirer's coverage of the Prince Andrew photo. Trump said Pecker told him the pictures of Clinton that Epstein had from the island were worse. Okay. The journalist corroborated the instance with Michael Cohen. The claims promulgated several years earlier in Roger Stone's book. The former editor of the National Enquirer told us his reporters had learned that Maxwell had retained a photo of Clinton in a compromising position with a 17-year-old. Okay, so now there's some talk about these guys being caught with pictures with underage girls. Although salacious, it is difficult to ascertain their credibility. On one hand, only convicted felons have repeated them. On the other, from January 2015, around the same time the rumors originated until Trump's GOP nomination, Roger Stone was targeting Clinton's ties to the scandal to, of course, try to sink Hillary. Okay. Furthermore, in November 2016 InfoWars segment, Stone may have let slip that he knew about Virginia's allegations against former Democrat Governor Bill Richardson and former Democratic Senator George Mitchell 3 years before the public. Neither of these details are conclusive. The rumors could still simply be made up. Still, Trump's comments in February can be taken in the context of an escalating attack on Clinton. And yeah, that was a big part of their shit, was to attach Epstein to Clinton while he was running. Now, also in April of 2016, Katie Johnson's accusations from 94 were filed in California without counsel, okay? And David Pecker's perennially suspicious Radar Online broke the news. Trump told Radar moments ago the allegations are not only categorically false, but disgusting at the highest level and clearly framed to solicit media attention, or perhaps are simply politically motivated. There's no merit to these allegations. Now, I do want to tell you a story about this, because the way the Katie Johnson thing played out was this. So Katie Johnson was tied to a producer that had been part of the Jerry Springer show. And that producer helped her file this anonymous claim. Okay. It was a Jane Doe claim in San Bernardino County. It was a civil filing, but it wasn't filled out right. Like it was a civil rights claim in civil court, but they didn't actually list how her civil rights had been violated. But simultaneously at this time, though, that same Jerry Springer producer was running around trying to sell Katie Johnson's story for a profit. Then what happened, though, is later this was kind of used to try to discredit Katie Johnson. But I think she met him and he was like, I'm going to help you with this. And he sort of like was the backing, because what later happened is she dumped him and she hooked up with attorney Lisa Bloom, who was the attorney that represented Bill O'Reilly's victims, who was a very well-known attorney that handled SA cases. And then they filed one under the name Katie Johnson in New York. And then they had a press conference, and then Katie Johnson didn't show up after getting a whole bunch of death threats. But she did later refile a correct suit with an actual attorney after this thing. So there is some speculation that producer guy was trying to like, yeah, I'll help you with this, but he was really just trying to sell it and make some money. Okay. Anyway, Pecker's media organizations would later be implicated in protecting Trump from the allegations in Ronan Farrow's book. For context, Pecker is the catch and kill of the Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal. Pecker was his friend that would plant false stories in the National Enquirer and buy and kill stories that were going to be harmful. Okay. Pecker was also instrumental in protecting Harvey Weinstein from sexual abuse allegations. He tried to blackmail Jeff Bezos. Okay. I mean, Pecker is just fucking crazy, like shitheady in Trump protection. Okay. Then Trump gets the nomination in June of 2016. Katie allegations resurface in a Huffington Post piece by attorney Lisa Bloom. Bloom offers to represent her in her suit against Trump. Okay. And then in September, the final rendition of the Johnson lawsuit is filed in September with Bloom. She announces a November 2 press conference right before the election. And that was the press conference that Katie Johnson didn't show up at. Okay. Then October of 2016, Pizzagate. This was created by like Jack Posobiec and a lot of these far right QAnon people. It was a bizarre conspiracy theory linking Hillary Clinton and other top Democrats to Satanism and a clandestine sex child trafficking ring. All bullshit. A Rolling Stone investigation traces the original Facebook post to a user out of Joplin, Missouri named Carmen Katz. The post, which directly invokes Epstein's scandal, went viral. Okay. My NYPD source says this is much more vile and serious than classified material on Weiner's device. Email details the trips made by Weiner, Bill, and Hillary on their pedophile billionaire friends playing the Lolita Express. Yup, Hillary was a well-documented predilection for underage girls, and Weiner could not bear to see those details deleted. We're talking about a child enslavement sex ring, and this guy's stirring this. This was all part of the smear campaign, right? That was part of the whole, like, during Trump's campaign. This was used to try to sink Hillary and Huma Abedin and the whole 9 yards. Over the coming days and weeks, the conspiracy would be propagated by GOP operatives such as Eric Prince, Mike Cernovich, Roger Stone, Alex Jones. It was also Posobiec. It was all those guys, right? And then it spread to those Twitter accounts like, you know, any right-wing Twitter account. Possibly in an attempt to apply pressure to reopen the Hillary email investigation or to deflect from the Katie Johnson filing that happened in New York, right? It would culminate 2 months later in a shooting incident at a DC pizza shop called Comet Ping Pong. And of course, we know that this had nothing to do with anything. That pizza shop was a big nothing. Then November 2nd, Katie Johnson pulls out of the highly anticipated press conference, and 2 days later drops her suit. She reported that she faced death threats leading up to this. November 8th, Trump wins the election. December 2016, Trump's campaign manager, Kellyanne Conway, is photographed with Epstein's pilot. Oh, shit. In December. Yikes. All right. According to CBS producer Ira Rosen, Ghislaine Maxwell acknowledged Epstein recorded tapes of Trump and Clinton engaged in illegal conduct. Holy shit. Okay. Ghislaine Maxwell says that there are tapes. Oh, man, dude. That's crazy. Right? But refused to help located them because she said she wanted Hillary to win. See, I don't know. Did she really want Hillary to win? Come on, man. Ghislaine Maxwell is like one of the closest things. Was she lying about this? See, I don't know when I start hearing Ghislaine Maxwell telling producers this, like, right? I just don't see her sinking Trump, man. She was like one of his closest confidants, right? And you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, right? You know, he says, I want the tapes, right? You know, he says, I want the tapes. I know there's tapes of Trump. She says, I don't know where they are, but like, does that confirm their existence? Right? This is all super sketchy, right? I'm not really buying this shit. That feels very tabloid sketchy. Okay. Trump gets inaugurated in April of 2016. Alex Acosta, who gave Epstein the sweetheart deal back in 2007, became the fucking labor secretary. So he gets a boost. The guy who lets Epstein off instantly gets a cabinet position. Okay. Trump model management is shut down the same month because of immigration controversies. Okay. In November 2017, QAnon, another bizarre conspiracy theory about a global cabal of infanticidal pedophiles against which Donald Trump is waging a secret war, brings up Epstein in a Q drop. Oh, shit. So now that Trump was president, okay, and we're getting these Q drops that are about Clinton, okay? Jesus. You know what I'm saying? It's like, this is crazy, okay? That like now that Trump is president, we're getting all these Q drops about Maxwell and Epstein, but they're tying it to Clinton, okay? It's all tied to Clinton. It's tied to Virginia Giuffre, but all of it is like leaving out Trump, okay? Then in December of 2017, rumors Trump visited Epstein at the El Brio property. Seth Abramson argues it was around Christmas time. Also propagates a rumor that Epstein advised Trump on foreign policy. Now, I will say this, guys, okay, that Epstein was giving interviews, okay? He was giving interviews while Trump was president, and he was divulging a bunch of information that, like, you couldn't just get from news articles. And so there was definitely some signs that looked like Jeffrey Epstein had been talking about the inner workings of the Trump admin while Trump was president, because he definitely was out running his mouth, divulging information that you weren't finding by reading a Washington Post article. Okay. A year after leaving Trump's admin, Steve Bannon is seen going into Epstein's property. Okay. This is crazy. We see Steve Bannon going to Epstein's house. That's nuts. A year after leaving the fucking Trump admin. Then in 2018, Julie Brown's A Perversion of Justice is published. Okay. And this is the article that reopened the Epstein investigation. Okay. This is crazy. Okay. This was, I guess I can't get that because of a paywall, but that was November of 2018. Okay. This is a year and a half after Trump takes office. And Julie Brown published that. She rebrings the investigation. While many authors and journalists had come before Brown, her reporting about the plea deal under Acosta struck a nerve, propelled the case from the tabloids out into the mainstream, into the national discussion. Now, this started the controversy that ended up with Alex Acosta falling on the sword and leaving the administration, basically taking all the heat for the Epstein thing. Then Epstein gets arrested and ends up dead. Okay. In February of 2019, Bill Barr was confirmed as Attorney General. There are largely unsubstantiated claims that Barr's father, who was in prior to the CIA, served in the Office of Strategic Services. There are some unsubstantiated claims he provided Epstein with a job at the Dalton School. We don't know if there is any actual real connection there. Attorney Bradley Edwards, in a conversation with Epstein about the ongoing litigation, recounts Epstein talking about friend Trump and his boy Barr. So that's, again, some secondhand information. Brad, what is the end goal of the CVRA? Even if you win and the judge rules it's invalid, there's no way they'll prosecute me. They will go all the way up to the Attorney General. You know, Trump was my friend and Barr is his boy. Let's end this CVRA thing. See, I don't know if that's necessarily a connection. But they're, you know, I mean, they're somewhat connected. In 2019, Epstein is arrested at Teterboro Airport in New Jersey in a joint investigation with the FBI and the NYPD. The QAnon theorists go wild. And an explainer from the New York Magazine on 4th of July, or maybe on the 5th, JFK Jr., who faked his own death 20 years ago, would reveal himself. And then as QAnon interpreter Will Sommer puts it, team up with Trump and ship a huge number of top Democrats off to Guantanamo Bay for their participation in these global child sex rings. Again, they are constantly tying this to the Dems. And now, dude, why wouldn't they release it if it was all just the Democrats? You know what I'm saying? Right? You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Right? Why wouldn't they release this shit? Okay. Of course, the wild theory turned out to be bogus, but it was on July 6th, they did arrest Epstein. Okay. On July 9th, Trump breaks his silence on the scandal and says this of his relations with Epstein. Okay.
And again, it was a decision.
Hold on. Let me fix the audio here for this because it's I need the mono audio. Here we go.
And again, it was a decision made, I think, not by him, but by a lot of people. So we're going to look at it very carefully. We'll be looking at that very carefully. Okay? Okay. Anybody else?
Jeffrey Epstein is a terrific guy.
Well, I knew him like everybody in Palm Beach knew him. I mean, people in Palm Beach knew him. He was a fixture in Palm Beach. I had a falling out with him a long time ago. I don't think I've spoken to him for 15 years. I wasn't a fan. I was not, a long time ago. I'd say maybe 15 years. I was not a fan of his. That I can tell you. I was not a fan of his. So I feel very badly, actually, for Secretary Acosta because I've known him as being somebody that worked so hard and has done such a good job. I feel very badly about that whole situation. But we're going to be looking at that.
Dude, Acosta let Jeffrey Epstein off, and then he gave him a cabinet position. Like, what is he talking about, bro?
And looking at it very closely. We're also going to be signing a big contract in a little while, so we're going to see you in a little while in a different room in a different part of the White House where we're going to be signing up a big deal with Boeing. Thank you very much. We'll see you in a couple of minutes.
Dude, this whole thing is sus, okay? Right? Oh, Lord. It does go deep. On the same day that Trump said that, Kellyanne Conway says this.
Does the White House believe that plea agreement that Acosta struck was indeed unconscionable? And does he enjoy the support of the president?
Well, first, let me just deal with Nancy Pelosi and her tweet, which I haven't seen, but I'm not surprised. It's classic her and her Democratic Party to not focus on the perpetrator at hand and instead to focus on a member of the Trump administration. They're so obsessed with this president that they immediately go to Alex Acosta rather than Jeffrey Epstein, as far as I can see.
Yeah, but again, dude, why would Donald Trump, of all the people he could make labor secretary, why would he give a cabinet position to the guy who let off the dude he supposedly doesn't like, right? He said, I'm no fan of his. I had a falling out. I barred him from my club for being a creep. He gets in trouble for sex with underage girls. An attorney goes behind the victim's back and gives him immunity to protect him and let him off. And then Trump picks that guy to be his labor secretary. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Okay. That is the obvious connection is he got the labor secretary position because he let him off. It was a ginormous protection network. Come on.
Jeffrey Epstein is the one who allegedly, but it sure looks like strong evidence to me, is touching, if not raping, young girls. We'll see what the evidence provides. But these charges, as Jeffrey Berman said in New York yesterday, are unconscionable. They shock the conscience. They do for me. You don't have to have a teenage daughter to feel that pigs who touch young girls as such, touching children as that should rot in hell. But it sure helps to have a teenage daughter and feel that way. And now I talked to the president this morning. He hasn't talked to or had contact with Epstein in years and years and years. And over a decade, at least, he said. And he met Alex Acosta when Alex applied and got the job, where he's doing a great job. I mean, look at the economy. So I know everybody, you want to revisit what happened in Florida. New York has applied fresh charges to Jeffrey Epstein because they have a right to do that. And I hope we're all paying attention to who the true perpetrator is here. The president told me this morning he hasn't talked to Epstein. He doesn't think he's talked to him or seen him in 10 or 15 years. And he, like everyone else, sees these charges, the description of these charges against Epstein, as completely unconscionable and obviously criminal, disgusting, really.
See, it's crazy because every road of Epstein goes through Trump, right? Through Mar-a-Lago, through Ghislaine, through Trump and Ghislaine's father. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, dude, every road all the way through to the New York fashion world, to the Look You modeling competitions, to the modeling agencies, to the money, to the phone calls, to the airplane, to the, right? I mean, dude, the private parties, you know what I'm saying? Like, fucking, it's crazy, dude. It's fucking crazy.
And so, and I think some of your networks, frankly, and irresponsibly, if I may say respectfully, are saying Jeffrey Epstein charged for sex trafficking or raping minors, and you have a picture of Alex Acosta. So
yeah, you should have a picture of Alex Acosta, because Alex Acosta is the one who let him off. He gave him immunity to those charges, and he did it against the will of the victims. And so, yeah, there should be a picture of Acosta. There should be a picture of Trump appointing Acosta, and a huge question mark, which is like, what the fuck are these guys doing? So then in July, okay, this was in July, then Acosta resigns and he falls on the sword for this. Okay. Then comedian and former Apprentice staffer and former Trump pageant staffer 𝗏𝗏 negates his NDA and starts sounding off about Trump's ties to Epstein on social media. And he claims Epstein was Trump's protege. So this is crazy. So this, okay, are some tweets here, right, from this guy, okay, that this was way back in 2019, okay? This is 𝗏𝗏, all right, who worked for Trump's pageants. This is years ago, okay?
Trump Tower, where Trump first compromised his business associates. You know, he would have parties at the Plaza, which is also around the corner. I'm at 60th and Madison at the moment. So Trump would have parties at the Plaza, and he would bring the Trump models there, and he would get the guys, you know, doing a little blow, having a few drinks, and then he'd be like, go in the bedroom, you know, what nobody's gonna find out, you're amongst friends, you know, and then he'd call them up a week later and say, hey, remember what you did the other night, you know? I have a tape of that. So that building permit you were going to hold up, you might not want to. So that was Trump's MO. You know, he did.
Dude, now that sounds like the most Trumpian thing ever, doesn't it? The threat, the fuck, right? I mean, dude, this is so fucking believable. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? It's so believable.
Atlantic City. He did it in Trump Tower, in the poker rooms that they have there, and the brothels. And he's probably doing it at Trump Hotel D.C. And I pointed that out in a tweet this morning, and everyone goes, he learned it from Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, so I need to clear this misconception up because it seems to be quite common. Trump trained Epstein. Epstein was Trump's protege. Look at the tape of the two of them at Mar-a-Lago. And
now, remember, guys, remember how Epstein was also doing interviews saying he wanted his modeling agency to be like Trump models? So it's kind of tracking that, like, Trump may have been using his modeling shit right? Like, Trump may have been the guy who was sort of the fucking, you know, the schmoozer with him and Ghislaine Maxwell, right? And then Epstein's learning the ropes of how to use modeling businesses to front girls and blackmail people, etc., whatever.
Epstein, you know, recoils and doubles over when Trump says something in his ear. Trump's the guy who was dirty enough to make the pedophile, you know, Trump's a pedophile too, but, you know, to make Jeffrey Epstein double over. Like, dude, I can't believe you said that. You know, that was Trump. He was the older brother in that relationship, and the kids called him Uncle Jeffrey. They're all a lot closer than they pretend to be now. I live in the same neighborhood as Epstein. I would see Ghislaine Maxwell, and you know, she'd be around town with him all the time. And Naomi Campbell, they'd always be at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, at the Waldorf, and, you know, Angel Ball, and all kinds of events. So, you know, Epstein based his trafficking off of what Trump did. You know, Trump model management was bringing Eastern European girls over to the U.S., throwing them in an apartment, 6 in a bedroom, charging them $2,000 a month to sleep in a bunk bed, you know, withholding legal fees that they needed for their visas, and then shopping them to his buddies. That's trafficking, and that's what Trump developed, and Epstein later kind of used as well.
Dude, yeah. So that's some fucking bold shit coming out there. And now, though, he's also tweeted today, he said there's a certain irony in the GOP's concerted effort to protect Donald Trump from a lifetime of sexual predation, much of it targeted at teenage girls as young as 13 years old. Jeffrey Epstein wasn't just a casual acquaintance, but more of a business partner, both in the trafficking of teenage girls and the collection of compromat. Okay, and that's just it, right? You know what I'm saying? And this is why, right? This is why she didn't sell Trump out, right? You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Like, I think, dude, Trump is really the center of this shit, okay? And this, you know, this guy's crazy, dude. Noel Kassler, I'm gonna fucking bookmark this and do some investigation on that later, but I do want to finish this timeline. Okay, so then in August of 2019, Epstein is found dead. Okay, then Trump retweets 2 QAnon conspiracy theories linking Bill and Hillary Clinton to Epstein's death. Remember this? Trump was retweeting shit that was claiming that Clinton and fucking Hillary and Bill killed Epstein. Like, wow, dude, right? And then he would fucking, you know.
The retweet, which is what it was, the retweet, was from somebody that's a very respected conservative pundit. So I think that was fun, yeah.
So then he doubled down on the retweet from a respected fucking conservative pundit, but it was QAnon conspiracy shit that he was retweeting. Then in July of 2020, Ghislaine Maxwell was arrested. Okay, then they asked Trump about Maxwell's arrest, and he said, oh, I haven't been following the situation, but I wish her well. And yes, his behavior was very Cohen-like, but here it is.
The other day, a reporter asked you about Ghislaine Maxwell. You said, quote, I just wish her well, frankly. I've met her numerous times over the years, especially since I lived in Palm Beach, but I wish her well, whatever it is. Mr. President, Ghislaine Maxwell has been arrested on allegations of child sex trafficking. Why would you wish such a person well?
First of all, I don't know that, but I do know that.
She has. She's been arrested for that.
Her
you know that.
friend or boyfriend?
Epstein.
was either killed or committed suicide in jail. She's now in jail. Yeah, I wish her well. I'd wish you well. I'd wish a lot of people well. Good luck.
Boy,
Let them prove somebody.
Dude, he sure didn't wish like 𝗙𝗪𝗏𝗪𝗀 well, or he doesn't wish Obama well. But look at this look at how defensive he is. Oh, first off, her boyfriend committed suicide. Oh, I'd wish her well. I'd wish you well. I wish everybody well. Right? It's like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's freaking out, bro.
But I do know that
She has. She's been arrested for that. You know
her
that.
friend or boyfriend
Epstein.
was either killed or committed suicide in jail. She's now in jail. Yeah, I wish her well. I'd wish you well. I'd wish a lot of people well. Good luck. Let them prove somebody was guilty. I mean, do you know that?
Oh, so you're saying you hope she doesn't die in jail? Is that what you mean by wish her well?
Her boyfriend died in jail, and people are still trying to figure out, how did it happen? Was it suicide? Was he killed? And I do wish her well. I'm not looking for anything bad for her. I'm not looking bad for anybody.
Dude, Trump, when does he wish anybody well? Anybody. Right? Never.
And they took that and
I mean, she's a
made it
alleged child sex
such a
trafficker.
big deal. But all it is her boyfriend died. He died in jail. Was he killed? Was it suicide? I do. I wish her well.
Dude, wow. Dude, that shit, I know, dude, Michael Cohen is involved in some way too, of course. Because he's like covering for Trump, right? I mean, dude, these guys are all fucking involved, all right? Then in July of 2020, Epstein's former Tower financial associate turned victim advocate, Stephen Hoffenberg, told CNN of Trump and Maxwell's relationship. There's no dispute. They knew each other well. He liked her and she liked him. And now we know this. We know that Trump and Maxwell, if we go all the way back, guys, the earliest photos are Trump with Maxwell's dad. Okay, Trump and Maxwell, she was in his private apartment. It appears that Trump knew Maxwell before he even knew Epstein. Okay, that the real connection there was Trump and Maxwell, and that Epstein just sort of like glommed onto that. Okay, December 31st of 2020, attorney Lynn Wood, who had been litigating on behalf of Trump against the 2020 election results, claimed Jeffrey Epstein was still alive. Okay, this is crazy. Right? Like, by my tally, Bill Clinton made 5 million paid speeches in 2015. Lynn Wood says, will Hillary and Bill release documents on why no Secret Service with Bill on trips with Jeffrey Epstein? Dude, what is that? Like, implying that he's still alive? Right? Comments come after a 6-month campaign to tie Chief Justice John Roberts to 2 entries in Epstein's flight logs. So, dude, I didn't know about this, right? That there was John Roberts, okay, on the flight logs. Look at this. It says that there's a John Roberts on the flight logs. John Roberts, but a Fox News anchor said, this is not me. I did not know Epstein. I have not flown on that. But it says that a Bondi released Epstein flight logs in February 2025 showing a John Roberts. Okay, but no one can confirm that it's the Chief Justice John Roberts. But holy shit, though. I mean, dude, can you imagine? Maybe that's part of this, too. Because John Roberts is his fucking point man. Well, yeah, this is a Fox News reporter saying it's not me, right? Because, of course, everybody named John Roberts is like, holy shit, who is that? But, dude, is it the Supreme Court justice? I mean, I could see it. Dude, he was like all pro the insurrection, right? Virginia Giuffre was a Roberts. I mean, I guess it could be a lot of people, but man, that's really interesting. Okay, that a John Roberts was implicated. Okay, the comments come after a 6-month campaign And then in January, the Trump presidency ends. So this is all of the timeline, dude. I know, dude, isn't that crazy? John Roberts did help Trump give immunity. But again, guys, the fact that Trump and Ghislaine are like way deeper, right? Hold on, I got to do the little intro. We're going to look at the entire timeline of Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein all the way from the 80s up until, Trump left office at the end of his first term, which predates everything that's going on now with the resurgence of this scandal. And what is really interesting here is when you look at this data, what you really see is there was much more than a Trump-Epstein connection, that in fact, it looks like the Trump-Ghislaine Maxwell connection was really the first one established. So we're going to dig into this. We're going to get in deep here. Trump to Nixon, hold my beer. Yeah, isn't that crazy? That was a lot. That was a huge mouthful. Like, oh my God, that was like literally like 2 hours. But dude, that's going to be an insane video, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, is John Roberts of the Supreme Court tied to this, right? Is the presidential immunity that got forced through tied to this fucking case and whatever's going to happen here? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was insane, bro. You know what I mean? Like, fucking unreal. Dude, that was a deep dive, bro. I may have to make 2 videos out of that. All right. That is a deep dive. All right. And I'm going to do a quick stinger. There's part 1. All right. Catch up tomorrow for part 2. All right. Where we're going to look at the second half of this timeline. This shit is insane. Thank you, guys. Memberships are appreciated. Drop that sub, hit a like. Drop that sub, hit a like, and go ahead and share. Thank you. Appreciate you. Dude, I'm recording YouTube stingers. Fuck, bro. Oh, shit. Oh, man. And now we're into part 2 of the Jeffrey Epstein, Donald Trump, Ghislaine Maxwell timeline. And here's where it gets deep. Shout out to the Aussies. Let's go. Don't forget to hit that bell. Drop a like, hit that sub button, and make sure to share. And again, all memberships, we appreciate you guys. You're helping keep this independent journalism afloat. Thank you. Dude, yeah. Dude, that shit is fucking crazy. All right, now I need a cool down, okay? I do. I need a cool down from that shit. Dude, the goal ended. Dude, the timer ended. We didn't get our goal. Fucking no dance party. No nothing. Dude, that was insane, but I wanted to do that. Dude, I heard that we can start a new goal. We'll try a new one. Why did Cenk Uygur freak out on John 𝗙𝗪𝗓𝗏? Right? I think Cenk Uygur may have flipped out on John 𝗙𝗪𝗓𝗏. I saw something like that. Did that actually happen where John 𝗙𝗪𝗓𝗏 was critical? Yes. Do you have that, Natalie? He was critical of Cenk Uygur, or of Anna being on Tucker Carlson, and Cenk Uygur fucking went off. Yeah, we're going to go a little late tonight, guys, because that shit fucking like burned up some time. Right? Cenk Uygur in the house. Dude, I think Cenk Uygur's on the Epstein list, boss. Just kidding. Dude, Cenk Uygur couldn't get into that kind of play, bro. He's too much of a fucking knob to end up on the fucking Epstein list, right? Cenk Uygur, he's a knob, dude. Dude, Cenk Uygur would end up on the fucking, right, on the, like, the fucking Jack Doherty list. Dude, John's the last thing that kept you connected to TYT? Yeah, no, we're going to get a clip here. We're going to look at this shit. Dude, Cenk Uyghur, dude, he is a total knob. Dude, that timeline was amazing, guys. Good night, Gen X. I've had that I've had that open in my browser for like 2 weeks. All right, 4 minutes. Oh, yes. Yes, no, Cenk Uyghur. Let's see Cenk Uyghur in fucking 2020. This is so before we.
When I was running for office.
Oh my God, Jesus. When you were. All right, now here's a little setup, guys. Okay, here's a little setup. This is from 2020. Okay, this is November of 2020. So now that is 4.5 years ago. So now we are about to look at Cenk Uyghur, aka Cenk Uyghur, having some issue with 𝗙ص being critical of 𝗙𝗚cie for going on Tucker Carlson, which we watched that 𝗙𝗚cie Tucker Carlson thing. I mean, dude, it was her usual right-wing fare where she was out there just, sacrificing the Dems on the altar of please like me MAGA and just excusing Tucker's racism and trying to move the Overton window on the racism and all the nonsense, the xenophobia going on with, Tucker. Oh, you're not racist, Tucker. Oh, it's these rich white women making this up because they want to do something. But let's go back 4 years ago and see what Cenk Uyghur was saying about Tucker Carlson, shall we? Let's visit what they used to feel before that Polymarket check came rolling in.
Tucker Carlson reached out to me. Now, there is some background to this. We debated at Politicon a couple of years back. Wasn't much of a debate. If you saw it, weirdly, Tucker Carlson agreed with almost everything I said. And we had spent some time backstage where it was a good conversation and an intelligent conversation. And so, and I thought that he was an interesting character. Now, I'm already familiar with what he does on air. This is a couple of years back. So I was a little surprised at how pleasant a conversation it was backstage. And then I was super surprised at how he basically didn't fight back in the debate / conversation. And so that was an interesting turn of events. And then some emails back and forth in the meantime. Then I run for Congress and they reach out to me. But both in the emails from the different people in his staff, and I don't want to out anyone, but I am talking about this because of the turn that Tucker's taken. So in the last year and a half, I think he's gone from terrible on air with interesting, points to make about not going to further war. I agree with that. And he's realized that Americans hate big business that's crushing their souls. And that's a good positive development that people on the right wing realize that, and that we actually have to fight against corporate power for real American citizens. So in the ways that he is right, I want to encourage it, right? But so I thought maybe they're reaching out to find common ground, and Tucker even called me when I was running for Congress. I won't divulge anything that was in the private conversation, but I now realize.
Dude, why would Tucker call him when he's running for Congress? Isn't that weird? That is like, and he's like, I won't divulge anything of the conversation, but why would Tucker Carlson call Cenk Uyghur while running for Congress in fucking, right? It's in Palmdale, California, man. Very fucking strange.
Looking back at all the different solicitations and how they're like, oh, we could have you on air, we could have you on air. Every time I clarified, I'm happy to go on air and talk about the parts where we agree. I'm happy to talk about the parts where we disagree. But I will never not point out our disagreement, okay? And so.
Oh, that's interesting. Did you hear that statement right there? Cenk Uyghur said, I will never not point out our disagreement. That's interesting. He's applying that to Tucker Carlson. It felt like a general application to all these right-wing people. Like, I'll go on there And I'll talk to you about what we agree on. I'll talk to you about our disagreements, but I will never not point out our disagreements. And yeah, he sure did not point out any of the disagreements with Charlie Kirk. He was like, please rub my belly. Please scratch my booty hole, Charlie Kirk. Oh, please. Oh, Charlie. Oh, shit, bro. That shit's going to go viral.
Times, etc. And then all of a sudden they stopped. Well, it turns out it's kind of a grooming process. And so they're like poking, prodding, cajoling, and, you know, I don't want to say seducing. That sounds too wrong in this context.
You already used all sorts of words that made me uncomfortable. So
I know, right? So might as well finish it.
Look at that. They're saying that Tucker is a grooming process to try and get you onto his show, to try and get you to like just be a useful idiot. Huh, that's really interesting. What a different tone they had back then.
Anyway, come this way, we're gonna agree, etc. And then if you notice, even good progressives that go on air on Tucker's show, on Fox News, they almost never disagree.
Oh.
And so there'll be some Fox News programs where
he's chiding the progressives that go on Tucker's show or the right-wing shows and never disagree. Wow, Cenk Uygur. This is Cenk Uygur. The new guy is Cenk Uygur, who will go on Tucker Carlson and be like, please, let me sniff your ass crack. Please, homie.
Disagreement is allowed, or they'll have a Democratic consultant on. But 9 out of 10 times, it'll be to say, now Republicans are, of course, right about everything, but we're so sorry for what we've done. So there's 1 or 2 guys that'll pipe up, and you'll be like, hey, look at that. It kind of somehow got on air on Fox News. But overall, they're trying to find people who will help them make their point without ever showing dissent on air. And so then you become a useful tool for their propaganda. And if you ever say to them at any point, yes, but I'm not going to agree with you on everything, they go, no, that's it, don't put them on air. Okay, so by the way, this comes from the people who say they are in favor of a free marketplace of ideas.
Dude, this is crazy. He's literally shitting on the behavior that he and Anna engage in like right now. Him and Anna go on all the right-wing shows to say, yeah, guys, you're right. The Democrats are bad. The Democrats are terrible. Like, they fucked up. You guys are better. You guys are doing it right. Dude, like, is he not aware that he used to be this guy? Or is this what happens after the poly market money? Right? Is this? Oh, that's the new Cenk Uygur. Is like, once he got that poly market money, now he's a MAGA fucking, knob polisher.
So I see no such thing. And that's how this game is played. So and I hate to do it, but for the folks who made it through that process, if you'll notice, they almost never disagree with Tucker on air.
They want to make you drink Starbucks every day from now until forever.
Why? Why would we? And as I've pointed out before, if we're going to make you drink anything every day, it would be Too Strong Coffee.
We're not going to make anyone drink anything.
/TYT. No, Anna, we're going to make them drink it because they're going to realize it's delicious and organic and fair. They don't care about organic and fair trade. What am I talking about? But they're like, wait, that coffee's.
Dude, it's so crazy seeing them here, right? Dude, you see here that like how different they are now here. Like here, they're like, man, the true progressive spirit, and like, man, these right wingers, they're grooming. We got to stand up to the right wingers. But man, there's none of this anymore. Like now it is like all MAGA apologists.
Too good and too strong. God damn it, they made me drink it. Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it.
Okay, so now let's look at now, okay? Because now we have John Iadarola and Cenk Uygur discussing
Israel, right?
Discussing Anna Kasparian. And it says Anna makes eye-opening appearance on Tucker Carlson's show. Okay? And now Do we have a timestamp here? There's supposed to be a timestamp, I believe, where Cenk and John go at it. Is it in the... Let's go into the fucking... Let's go into the middle here.
If you were to go on there and just like...
All right, here we go.
For decades or whatever it's been, I think you were just complete idiot if you think white enough, because 30% interest rate is criminal. Sure, his replacement theory stuff I think is racist and disgusting, but also I think it's quite stupid and easily disproven. When you talk about replacement theory, and you got a guy like freaking Ted Cruz who's Cuban. Like, what's not white about Ted Cruz? Who the hell is he replacing, right? Like, Tucker has his problems, but the idea that you won't go to somebody who's got a major audience where you could get like 2 million people on a freaking video so that Anna could espouse the views that we've been trying to push for here at TYT for decades or whatever it's been, I think you were just complete idiot if you think that's a bad idea. I'm sorry, I have no respect for that take. Like the idea that you can't talk to Tucker Carlson because he has takes that you disagree with. I think that's utterly, honestly, I don't even think it's intellectually serious, Cenk.
See, the thing about this though is I don't think there's an argument that you shouldn't even talk to Tucker. But there should be an argument, right, that you are calling him out on his bullshit, right? I mean, she literally basically went on the Tucker Carlson show and said, you're not a racist. And like the left wingers saying MAGA people are racist are so like off base. Like, dude, he is a total racist, total homophobic, total fucking replacement theory. And she literally went on there and said, you're not a racist, Tucker. The white women are just crazy, like saying that shit, the white liberals, because they're just trying to do something to help the world. Like, what the fuck is this guy talking about, man? That's insane.
Like the idea that we even pay lip service to these folks, I think is a mistake. They're idiots. I'm sorry.
I think it comes down to what you use the time for. I mean, if you were to go on there and just like, you know, Tucker Carlson were talking about how awesome the camp of the saints is or whatever, then that's probably a waste of time. You shouldn't, I wouldn't do that. But if you come out guns blazing, this bill was terrible, it's gonna hurt people, even focus on the fact that it's gonna hurt MAGA. Millions of Republicans are gonna lose their health insurance. They're gonna lose their food stamps. It turns out poor white people use food stamps at very high rates. If you focus on that, and then you maybe hit them on a couple things that we already know that Donald Trump is weak on, like the fact that he lied about being anti-intervention when he comes out like declaring he's gonna invade Greenland.
But she didn't do that at all. She went on there and said, you're not a racist. The Democrats were wrong, and I was radicalized by thinking MAGA people were racist. And she basically found anti-Semitism, okay? Found anti-Semitism with, you know, Tucker Carlson. They had that in common and a distaste for Gavin Newsom and homeless people, right?
Obviously, he bombed Iran and all that. Then that could potentially be useful. You use the access provided to you to get through to that audience on, you know, areas where you think you can actually move them. And I think that she again, that's why I was stressing it was just the first few minutes, she immediately was doing that.
Yeah, so
dude, he thinks, right? He thinks that am I missing something here? Was there a beginning part that I didn't get? Because he was saying that he thought Anna was doing that he thought Anna was like calling Tucker out. I did not really get that vibe at all. I mean, granted, I didn't watch the beginning of the interview, but did Cenk say something before this? I mean, am I missing something here? Who is John responding to? Is he responding to Cenk here? Because I didn't see Anna doing any pushbacking at all, right? I didn't see Anna doing any pushback in that interview at all. And like, you know, I have not watched the whole thing, so it's possible. Oh, so Cenk does respond? Okay, all right, let's see here.
Stressing it was just the first few minutes, she immediately was doing that.
Yeah, so I want to go to some of the other shots real quick, the videos. But I will say, I mean, we're living super trippy times, right? So I'm a capitalist, Professor Wolf that I mentioned earlier is somewhere between socialist and Marxist. It's a little bit complicated. And then Tucker obviously is way to the right of us. And so somehow the three of us, or you include Anna, the four of us, are magically agreeing on what the problem is. We have slightly different solutions, right? But like, yeah, the rich and powerful are screwing us all.
Dude, they agree what the problem is. Does Tucker really agree that the rich and powerful are screwing us all? Like, does Tucker really agree with that? Dude, really? I mean, dude, that would include Donald Trump. That would include the fucking Scott Bessent and the whole Trump cabinet. Like, dude, I'm not really getting that at all, right? Tucker's always more like the Democratic elites are fucking screwing us up. And Tucker's like Israel is causing all the fucking shit. But this claim that Tucker is somehow like got this Bernie like anti-oligarchy arc to him. Come on, man. Where's he getting that?
And we don't run our own government. And so the fact that it's this amazing coalition that is not a coalition.
Dude, an amazing coalition. Dude, what is Cenk Uygur? Dude, Cenk Uygur didn't take his meds, bro. Something is going on.
But all agrees, yeah, we're definitely getting screwed. Is just, I grew up in a time when people did not agree to that. I grew up in a time when mainstream media ruled everything. And they told you the status quo was great and there was no problems and the politicians were not corrupt and the donors did not rule things. So now when you've got professors on the left, me and Anna and Tucker all the way on the right, and we all agree on all of these populist things. Again, we don't have to agree on all the solutions or all the.
Dude, he's saying Tucker and him agree on populist things. Dude, what is he talking about, bro?
Different policies. It's amazing. To John's point, Anna told a story of how the woman driving her to Tucker's interview was really mad about the so-called big beautiful bill because, we have that one? Here, let's watch that one.
One of the drivers who picked me up, Jen, she mentioned the big beautiful bill that just passed. And I can tell she identifies as Republican and she wasn't happy with that bill. And I suspected that most ordinary working class Americans, whether they're Democrats or Republicans, are not happy with that bill.
Yes.
The $1.1 trillion in cuts to Medicaid, that's what she brought up. She brought that up. And I thought that was really fascinating. Now, if you talk to someone who identifies as a liberal Democrat, they'll probably think, these Republican voters, they're so greedy. All they want is tax cuts. They want to cut the social safety net. But no, actually, when it comes to ordinary people, there's a lot of agreement,
So I watched it and that drive.
See, here's the danger with this fucking Tucker washing shit, okay? You know what I'm saying? When Cenk's like, the coalition that's not yet a coalition, but we all agree that the fucking rich people are ruining the government or ruining the fucking country, right? They're anti-oligarchy thing. But here's the problem though, is like, I don't think Tucker actually believes that. Tucker is part of the wealthy fucking, the wealthy elites. And he certainly has protected the wealthy elite people. He has some grievances at being fired from Fox and certainly has some grievance he's built up, kind of like Cenk Uygur against what he considers to be the establishment that rejected him, right? But here's the problem. Is I don't like that Cenk Uygur, Cenk Uygur here is always spending his airtime talking about making coalitions with fucking Tucker Carlson. Because here's the problem. There's so many people on the left wing that agree with Cenk Uygur more, okay? There are 100 people on the left wing, in the left wing, Max left, even his own fucking nephew, who agree with him more. And they believe that same anti-oligarchy shit. So why are we going there and like making nice with the racist replacement theory guys? Why do we even entertain a coalition with them? Because that is essentially like doing some work for them to launder the image of their racism and their replacement theory shit. We should be coalitioning with everybody who's not a fucking racist and replacement theory person first, okay? The Sam Cedars, the Emma, the Frans, the Kyle Kowinski, everybody on the left. We should build that whole fucking coalition, all of those people. And then after we have done that, we can talk about entertaining the fucking other knobs, right? But he's starting with the knobs. He's starting with the dickheads. He's starting with like, oh yeah, let's go to the crazy racist people and say, oh, you're not that racist, MAGA. Come on, we all agree in populist ideals. Isn't that amazing? He's starting there while meanwhile he shits on every fucking left-winger. Every left-winger, dude, he shits on him and shits on him and shits on him and shits on him. He has more disdain, him and Anna do. They have more disdain for the fucking people protecting trans rights or defending the homeless. They have more disdain for the left-wingers who agree with them because of like transphobia and anti-homeless issues they have. They have more disdain for that than they do for the racist replacement theory degenerate fucking outrageous anti-immigration freaks. Like what in the actual fuck, bro? I know that was a little bit of a tirade, but I'm heated about this, man, because this shit is bullshit. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're laundering these guys, man. You know, fucking clown world.
I never voted for Trump, but that's why she was so disappointed. She didn't think that like her Medicaid was going to get cut. And that's what happens when you talk to people that are on the other side and you find out what's happening. Since we're in a little bit of a hurry here, I want to go to the last clip here. If you're wondering why Anna went on Carlson's show, here's your answer.
My feelings toward coming on your show went from I would never in a million years to kind of giving myself the opportunity to listen to your podcast to figure out who you really are. Because of course I had very strong thoughts about who you are.
Dude, she's actually, we've heard her say on other right-wing podcasts, oh, I've been listening to Tucker. He's doing really good things.
Really? Yeah, but I realized that it was based on clips that I would watch of you that had gone viral. And they had gone viral because they were offensive or you had said something that was
viral, like syphilis is viral.
I mean, pretty much. I think that some of what you've been talking about lately like hits at the heart of what I care most about. And that's the importance of
anti-Semitism, dude. That's what she is, right? Right? She's like, now that you're anti-Israel, like, I want to have a beer with you, right? Then now that like, but see, this is the thing though, is like, I don't know, man. I feel like some of the fucking, I don't think Tucker is anti-genocide, okay? That's it. I don't think Tucker is anti-genocide. Tucker is anti-Semitic, okay? Tucker is George Soros conspiracy, right? And Anna's like hanging out with Lindy Lee, who's George Soros conspiracy, okay? Tucker is deeply anti-Semitic. He's not anti-Zionist. He's not pro-Palestinian. He's not anti-genocide. He is literally anti-Semitic, like old school fucking racist troping fucking all of the Jews, right? And like, so her like meeting of the minds here is though like, oh, we have a common enemy in Zionism and Israel now. Dude, I'm not buying this shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm not buying this. Yeah, Tucker hates everybody in the Middle East, dude. He does. Like, let's be honest.
This country representing the American people, the importance of the United States being a sovereign country.
Do you sincerely think that anybody on either side of the aisle, which doesn't even exist, but whatever, left, right, wherever, could watch what you've said for the last almost 2 hours and come away angry?
I mean, if you're Zionist, probably. This is the message that I want people who might feel angry to take away from me. I don't give a That's it.
Yeah, see, the thing about this, though, is like, I'm not angry at Anna, right? But I do feel the need to fucking repair the fucking damage. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to let her fucking give us a Christian Taliban fascist government simply because of fucking, you know, she hates Israel. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Right? Like, I don't, like, not mad. I don't fucking care what she does. Like, we know she's pivoting the right. We know that they took that poly market money and now they are like, you know, anti-democratic party fucking, like, that's their mission, is to bring down the Democrats and to reinforce the narrative of some of these fucking right-wingers, you know?
That's got to be a meme, man. I did not expect her to end it that way.
Dude, that, like, that wasn't even that fucking, like, look at Cenk. He's like so over, right? He's like, you know what I'm saying? He's like so like, oh, right? Dude, but like Anna's feeling a little self-important, like we're mad at her. Like, Anna, newsflash, we know you don't represent us anymore. You know what I'm saying? We're literally just out here doing damage control and trying to prevent you from poisoning the mind of any progressives that are still dumb enough to be watching your fucking shit. Dude, but Cenk Uyghur is so, I know, look at him, dude. Dude, he looks like his face is going to crack when he smiles.
That was the end of the interview. So, yeah. And so, by the way, some of those clips that went viral about Tucker are terrible, right? But what was interesting is in that interview, he said a couple of times, I wish I hadn't said some of those things. Amazing what happens when you have a conversation. Super last one. This is Anna talking about Trump's fake populism in front of Tucker Carlson.
I don't think that Trump has carried out his promises because of, well, there's a lot of different examples I can cite, but the most recent is the so-called big, beautiful bill. Yeah, there are some provisions in there, no tax on tips. It's going to be means tested, and it also expires in 4 years, whereas the tax benefits that disproportionately benefit the wealthy are permanent. The no tax on, you know, the elderly or Social Security, that also will expire, and it's up to a certain amount. I think it's like $6,000 if I'm not mistaken. The child tax credit, I think, was just peanuts compared to what I think this country could afford in helping families. You want to encourage people to have kids?
Yeah.
Okay, best way to do it is to create an economic situation where couples feel comfortable bringing life into this world.
I agree.
You know? And then,
yeah, it's hard to even want to have kids when half of the country, or like 40% of the country's like, if you have a gay kid, or if your kid happens to be trans, we're gonna make it our life's mission to harass you and try to run you out of the fucking country. Like, who wants to have a kid, right? If you have a gay kid and you hang a pride flag, they're gonna want to fucking put you in a work camp. You know what I'm saying? If you have a kid and she gets raped, she's not going to be able to have access to abortion. She's going to be forced to deliver the kid. Who wants to bring a kid into that world, right? We're going to get shot in school? Yes. Going to be oppressed by the government? They're going to have a bunch of Christians run around with the Bible trying to fucking strangle them with it. Like, nobody wants to have a fucking kid when there's a bunch of religious zealot clowns that are like, goddamn, if your kid doesn't end up the way we want him to be, we're going to try to harass you for the rest of your fucking life. You know?
No tax on overtime. That's another example. That's also means tested. And that's a provision that will expire in 2028. If you really want to represent the working class, you got to put your money where your mouth is. And I haven't really seen it to the extent that Trump claimed he was going to help the working class in this country.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How many people?
Yeah, look at Tucker. What did he say? Interesting. See, I want to go back and see Tucker's response to that. Like, okay, she says that. We'll give her that. I'll give her that she said that, but
on the right,
I may have to go find that.
Tax on tips and overtime, the relief on that is temporary, but the tax cuts for the wealthy are permanent.
Yeah, well, dude, they should know that. Everybody's been saying that, okay? They fucking should know that. And it's limited to 25 grand, which means if you make more than 25 grand, you're still paying tax on that shit, which is bullshit. Why is there a limit on the amount of fucking tax credits a person making 50 grand has, But if you make $400 billion, there's no limit on your tax credits. Like, bro, come on, you fucking eggheads.
Maybe a lot did, and maybe some didn't, and maybe some of those folks learned that today.
See, this is what's so funny though, is prior to Anna talking about that, she fucking eviscerated the one of the Democratic hopeful candidates in Gavin Newsom. She talked shit about the Democratic Party. She shit on the Democrats holding MAGA to account for their racism, right? I mean, she may have said that one thing about, oh yeah, the fucking tax on tips expires, but like that's after she literally like did so much damage to the Democratic Party and so much please like me MAGA moments. Right, but she told them that the tax on tips expires. Oh, good job. Yeah, really glad you fucking shat on every potential Democratic presidential candidate and the whole party, right? Threw them all under the bus, but you did tell them the tax on tips expired, right? Like, come on, man.
Right, so that's why I love the conversation overall. Last thoughts, guys.
Yeah, again, I think that if you can use that opportunity, if somebody like Anna can go in, or if Bernie Sanders did it or something like that, even people I don't necessarily always agree with, like occasionally like a Pete Buttigieg will go on Fox News or whatever and use the opportunity for what it's worth or whatever. I think that's great. I still think that Tucker Carlson is a horrible person. I think that he made himself what he wanted to be over the course of his career, chasing an audience. He told them what he thought they wanted to hear. I think that he also told that he didn't tell them stuff that he knew to be true, that he knew they wouldn't want to hear, like about Donald Trump. He kept his true feelings about Donald Trump secret for years and then came out and supported the guy right before the election. And so I worry, like, again, use him for whatever you can, but he's a guy that has said what he needs to generate an audience for years. I don't know any reason to believe that he stopped doing that when he left Fox News. And I think he has been, as Woz pointed out, I mean, he's viciously racist. I think he's fairly anti-democratic. I think he's totally fine with a much more explicitly Christian form of government. And so all of that remains incredibly problematic and needs—
Dude, see what's going on here? Because like, dude, I'm sorry guys. I don't love this John guy, okay? I don't know a lot about this guy, but I don't love him, okay? Because he's always just riding the fucking TYT friendly fence. Okay, because he's sitting here talking shit about Tucker Carlson, but he's not holding Anna to account at all. Okay, he's like, not at all. He's not pushing back on their right-wing pivot. He's not pushing back on the fact that she, you know, basically said, you MAGA people aren't racist and the Democrats think you're racist, and like she was trashing the fucking the Democratic presidential candidates like preemptively, right? She's in a, you know what I mean? She's going to be anti-Newsom and through anti-Newsom, anti the Democratic Party the whole time. Okay? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he's not really pushing back on TYT at all. And he didn't push back when fucking Cenk was shitting all over Francesca. Like, this guy is like, I mean, he's trying to be like, yeah, I'm still a progressive and this Tucker guy's really bad, but I'm going to sit here and let you guys all pivot completely to the right around me, and I'm not going to push back on you guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's too afraid to push back on these guys. He's kind of a wimp, man. He's got no fucking backbone, bro. You know what I'm saying? He's got no backbone. Like, I'm telling you right now, like, just me, if I shared a show with Francesca, okay, and Francesca called Cenk a bitch, which he deserved it, man. Francesca called out Cenk in completely honorable ways. She did not, like, you know what I'm saying? She like called him out for his fucking behavior. And then he like bans her from the show. And if that was my partner on my show, I would be fighting for her. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would have been like, no, Cenk, she was right. You're fucking wrong. You need to listen. You need to stop like coalescing with these MAGAs while throwing our own people like Sam Cedar and Emma and Franny under the fucking bus. I would be like, there's no fucking way, man. There's no way, bro. Like, if Franny goes, I fucking go. Okay? How's that? Like, I'm not going to stay here and launder your shit after you throw, like, one of the best people we have off the network. Like, fuck you, bro. Like, I would take that kind of stand. I don't care if I have a kid. I have a kid. I have a house. I fucking whatever. We have all the same fucking shit. We're all in the same struggle. You know what I'm saying? But like, there's no way I'm gonna fucking do the kissy ass shit. You know what I'm saying? And like, you know what I mean? Like, come on, man. And this guy, like, okay, he's taking a stand against Tucker Carlson. But like, dude, John's being pretty fucking weak here, man. He is not being a savage, bro. He's just not.
To be fought. I think that he's potentially a very dangerous person. Like, for instance, if he decided to run for office, I think he's somebody that needs to be taken very seriously for those reasons. But that said, he is influential. He does have a big audience. And I think that Anna, the way she presented the argument was very well calibrated to get through to the people who would listen to him.
Yeah.
Dude, he's praising Anna. He's praising her. He's like,
so I'm going to say one thing that I don't know if people will find controversial. I don't care about the arc of his career. I care if he still has opinions that are problematic and that I'm going to fight against.
Dude, Cenk says he doesn't care about the arc of his career. How can you fucking say that, man? How can you not care about the arc of his fucking career, right? Oh, Donald Trump not raping teenage girls anymore, so let's just get some populism with him. Yeah. You care about the arc of Franny's career. You care about the arc of Sam Cedar's career. You care about the arc of Emma Vigeland's career. You care about the arc of Barack Obama's career, Kamala Harris's career, fucking Joe Biden's career. But you don't care about the arc of Tucker Carlson's career? I mean, what the fuck is that, bro? What is that? Dude, John needs to grow some goddamn fucking hairy, big, swollen balls, bro. Seriously. We need somebody with big, hairy, swollen balls to fucking take these motherfuckers on, you know?
Right, that I care a lot about. But if, he got to here in a weird way or in a disingenuous way or in a wrong way. Well, if he got to the point where he's saying, let's stop the genocide and let's release the Epstein files.
Dude. He's not saying let's stop the genocide. He's fucking just completely anti-Semitic and he wants to harm Israel, okay? Tucker Carlson does not fucking care about the genocide. Like, if Tucker Carlson, you ready for this? If Tucker Carlson were to somehow be able to destroy Israel and burn Israel to the ground, he would immediately start trying to burn the Arabs to the ground. Like the day after the Israel was burned to the ground and a smoldering pile of rubble, Tucker would begin his anti-Muslim fucking anti-Arab campaign like the next fucking day. You know what I'm saying? Am I feeling young and dynamic? I am very young and dynamic. Dude, he said Tucker Carlson is anti-genocide and like, oh man.
And the American people are getting screwed and we should relieve credit card debt. I don't really care how he got there. I care that that's what he's telling his audience. I care that we agree on that. And I care, and I would love to get those things done. Whether we're
no, that's bullshit. Because if Tucker Carlson still points them to whoever, right? Like Tucker Carlson's gonna say this shit to be contrarian or whatever, but what's he gonna be in 2026? He's gonna endorse all of the fucking toxic right wingers. You know what I'm saying? What's he gonna be in 2028? He's gonna point his audience to JD fucking Vance, right? Or whoever the fucking Trumpian MAGA candidate is. Like, come on, Cenk. Like, you know, what's the end game of this electorally? It's not good, okay? It is towards fascism, okay? Tucker Carlson is going to move us towards fascism of the fucking Christian weirdo right. You know what I'm saying?
Any of us on the right or left is going to get it done. It's a different matter. Waz, last word.
Yeah, I mean, it's so much.
I don't even want to hear Waz's last word because I know he's going to be buttering the fucking bread too. But yeah, dude, I'm really disappointed in this guy. I've been disappointed in this guy since Franny, and I don't get any less disappointed in this guy. And so the thing about this, guys, is I do have a thing about centrists because I don't like centrists too, but I'm not sure that centrists are like in on it because I think there are some centrists that want like incremental change. But I do believe that centrists are worried about radical change because the system works for them. I don't know that they're a sellout where they're like, man, I'm trying to set this up so I get more. I think the centrists are just usually from a class where the system works for them. And so they do want to change and they do want to fight for some of these rights and some of this healthcare stuff, but they just don't want to fuck with the system too much to where they're going to lose their shit because they have a slice of the pie that's pretty significant and is working for them, but they don't have aspirations to be like the 100 millionaire people or the billionaires. So they're not trying to rig it. They're just afraid that they're going to lose their like their bigger share of the pie if they fuck it up too much. And like, so I don't think they're actually necessarily sellouts. I think they're more afraid of like losing their share. And so, you know what I mean? It's like, and that bothers me, right? Because that to me is like a little bit more dangerous than a sellout because you can't make bold change with fear. Whereas like a sellout is like, you can, I don't know, sellouts, you can then make your enemy and maybe use them. Like, I feel like the centrists are just a little dangerous because they're more likely to be taken advantage of. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They're like more likely to be taken advantage of because they're protecting their little piece. Now it's hard for me because like I don't like centrists, but I'd rather have a centrist than a Republican, right? Like I can't stand 𝗙𝗪𝗪 and I don't want 𝗙𝗪𝗪 to become the face of the new Democratic Party. But goddamn, I'd rather have 𝗙𝗪𝗪 win in Michigan than a Republican fucking senator. You know what I'm saying? And that's where it gets complicated though, because I don't want the Republican senator, but I also don't want fucking 𝗙𝗪𝗪 with her 10 million from the crypto industry and her CIA background becoming the fucking voice of the modern Democratic Party. So that's where it gets really complicated. Is some of this shit. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? That's where I get annoyed, right? Google's going the way of cable if they keep this crap up with commercials. Nah, man. Don't be too mad at Google's. The commercials are a free way. Let's go, baby. Dude, yeah. I mean, we're going to have to see, right? We're going to have to see with the fucking, right? With the Fetterman, if she's going to be like Fetterman and Manchin. Yeah, no, I know. Because she acts like she's not, right? She did that she did that big fucking piece, right? Was it Vanity Fair? Right? I think it was Vanity Fair, right? Where she had her big piece where she's like, oh, the new guard, and she's all pro LGBTQ and all this shit. But like, dude, we gotta really come together on civil rights, man. You know what I'm saying? Please go on Anna and Lindy's show. Dude, I want to get on these shows. Nobody's like asking me on yet. right? I don't think I'm big enough, guys. You know what I'm saying? I think when I have like, you know, when we have like 300,000 subscribers and we're making a little bit of a bigger splash, people will fucking, right? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? People will fucking, you know, right now I'm not, you know, nobody's wanting me yet. Not these guys, right? Vanguard is doing it. Yeah. Yeah, but the Vanguard though they've been around, guys, for years, Altered. You know what I'm saying? The Vanguard have been around for years, right? I'm an upstart. It's only been a year. You know what I'm saying? No, the Vanguard's not going on her take, but they've been around for years and they're definitely more connected to the scene. I think it takes a while to become part of the scene. In the beginning, you're there and people hear about you, but you got to be in the trenches. And I've not been in the trenches. I have more reach than a lot of newcomers because I was kind of famous from the gaming. So like what's happening right now is I'm like a total unknown, but I have a lot more reach because I had this previous gaming fame. But I still have to earn my way in the political scene. And I will. Like, don't worry, guys. It's all going to happen. It's just like, you know what I'm saying? To me, I feel lucky that like Brian Tyler Cohen's been showing me how to be a better YouTuber, bro. I mean, I know the collabs will come, but like right now, dude, I've actually had like one of the biggest political YouTubers has been helping me like become a great YouTuber, which I'd rather have that. You know what I'm saying? I think I'll stick with that and like let the collabs, they'll come, dude. Right? I'm actually happy with the way it's growing. I mean, we'll get there. You know what I'm saying? But I think I have to put in a little more time. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta be in the trenches, you know what I'm saying? You gotta earn that. I mean, it's like everything. Like it was the same with the music scene. You know what I mean? Like in music scene, I had really good music and I had a great personality, but it took me like years to become a fixture in the music scene because you kind of have to earn your place with people who've been doing it for 5-10 years. You don't just get to walk in there and be like, yeah, because I have a good take. Yeah, you guys gotta feature me on your really big shows. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't work like that. I'll get there, right? I'll get there. You have to do the fucking time in the trenches. And we're doing it, man. I'm so happy with our progress. Can you believe, guys? Can I just show you? Look at this shit, boss. We're almost halfway to 100K, guys. It's been 1 year, dude. It's been 1 fucking year, guys. I literally my first video, okay? If you look at this, let's just look at something here, guys. You got to look at this shit. Okay, look at this. You ready? Let's go to my videos. Let's go to oldest. Let's go to look at this video, right? Which we can't watch, but look at the date of this, guys. March of 2024. Dude, April, May, June, July. It's been 16 months, guys. And we're already at 49,000 subscribers, dude. That's crazy. Okay? Like there are other people, I mean, like the Vanguard, I love those guys. They're like, they just went over 100K. They've been doing this for years, guys. Like we are like fucking crazy banging. That is nuts. Dude, I look at that number and it like is fucking insane. You know what I'm saying? Dude, it really, though, a lot of it has been BTC's help, dude. He's helped me so much, man. Oh my God. Vanguard goes too far. I don't know what you mean by Vanguard going too far. I like Vanguard. I love Park Rose Permaculture. I like Francesca. I really like Kyle Kalinske. I also like BTC. I fucking enjoy Keith Edwards, right? He's a little like tamer, but I like, for me, it's kind of like the personality and it's the personality is really important. But what do you mean by Vanguard goes too far? You mean too far left? Oh, they shit on the Democrats too much? Yeah, but like, you know, I mean, I get that. I think like my take on this is like they shit on Democrats, but they also like support, you know what I'm saying? They support people too. I like Luke Beasley a lot too. Yeah. You like Keith, but his reading skills have you concerned? Dad. Yeah, I mean, you know, not everybody, like, he doesn't edit it out. I don't think that, like, my reading skills would have you concerned too, but, like, I edit that shit in the videos, and Keith just lets it roll. I'm trying to edit my shit less, but I tend to be a pretty perfectionist, so I edit out a lot of my nonsense. Like, that's what's going to be weird when you finally see me on a show with people, and why I don't care if it takes another year for me to start collaborating, because a lot of these other shows, they don't edit the videos. You know what I'm saying? So I need to become a better talker, right? And so, like, we'll get there, but I think I need to be a better talker, right? I like Adam Mockler too. Surprised Roush isn't on my list. Dude, so the thing about Roush is like, I don't know why I don't hit it off with Roush. I don't know if it's the bearded, I don't know, dude. I don't know if like something about his, like Roush seems like too old for me in a way. And he feels a little like harsh. Maybe that's it. I don't know. I think Roush reminds me a lot of some of the fucking Midwestern kind of assholes that I left. Like, he doesn't feel as big city enough. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like with Roush, he doesn't feel like, I don't know. He doesn't feel metropolitan enough. Dude, I don't know. I watch him and he's just a little too frumpy, grumpy. Like, yeah, I don't know. You know, he reminds me a little bit of Destiny, okay? And Destiny's a guy who I think is a great debater, and I don't dislike Destiny, but I don't like watching Destiny's content because he feels too right-wingery, and he's, a lot of times he's like mean and aggressive and frumpy and like, I don't know, kind of like a little downer, you know what I'm saying? And I don't like that kind of like, I am attracted way more to positivity, right? But dude, he's a good debater, right? Dude, Destiny is a great debater, but he, you know, is like, you know, obviously that sex scandals I didn't find surprising because he spends all his time hanging out with Andrew Tate and Sneeko and those guys. And I don't want to watch those guys. Like, fuck those guys. Like, I could watch one debate with Andrew Tate and Sneeko, but then fuck those guys. Those guys are fucking grifting clowns. I don't want to sit in a room and debate them and make content with them or watch guys who make content with those idiots all the time. You know what I mean? Dude, I want to go on PBD. I want to go on Her Take. I want to fucking talk to Cenk Uygur. Dude, yeah, see, that's, to me, Natalie, maybe that's it. Maybe that's what I don't like about Roush and Destiny too, is they have a little more in common with the Sneekos and the Tates than they do. Like, I don't have a lot in common with those guys, right? I'm just not a sex pred. I love fucking sex and I love the adult film industry and all that shit, right? But I'm not creepy about it. I'm not going to be fucking slinking around with fucking 15-year-old girls, and I'm not trying to fuck my audience ever. You know what I'm saying? That's not my vibe. And some of those guys have a little bit of that creeper shit going on where it's like they're trying to fucking get fame laid. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to get fame laid, but I am going to go make some videos. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Enthusiastic consent is indeed a thing. Let's go. Dude, that Epstein timeline shit though was crazy, bro. Dude, I love Kyle though. Kyle Kulinski, he's one of my fucking I like that guy a lot, dude. And dude, if I cut my hair and do it in my fucking short, bleachy style, my hair's gonna look a little like Kyle. I had 𝗙𝗪𝗏𝗀 hair in the 90s before 𝗙𝗪𝗏𝗀 had that hair. Let me just tell you, bro. Right? You go look at my old photos of me in the fucking Wanteds. I was rocking, like, maybe that's why I like Kyle. We have the same hair. Let's go. Although I don't have much left. It's time for edit mode. What do we got coming up next on fucking Political Punk Radio? Oh, we got a little You're on Blue from my band Full Blown Red 2003. I just want to dance. Does anybody notice? It's my fault because I love you on purpose. I'm insecure or just a little nervous. You're on blue. We didn't get a dance party. We didn't have enough donuts, but I'm gonna do it anyway at the end. Looks good on you. Tell me who knows you're on blue. When every bruise looks good on you. You found out that nobody is perfect, and you doubt that anybody's worth it. Look around, the world is a circus. You're on blue. So provoking, I forgot to mention. Are you joking? I need some attention, and nothing's working to change your direction. You're on blue. Knows you're on blue. When every bruise looks good on you. Tell me who knows you're on blue. When every bruise looks good on you. Why won't you hold my hand? All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Do the best you can. Let's go, baby! Got a plan, but I'm gonna survive this. That's just who I am. Good night, guys! Blue. See you tomorrow.